She'll take it all the way, lay it up and in. Big alley.
The following is a production by the students and staff at Lubbock ISD TV.
Swing and a miss. Struck him out.
Lubbock High, Monterey, Coronado, and Estacado. All of them are perennial playoff contenders, wreaking havoc to every name on their schedule.
Oh, what a ball! What a score!
Elite? Yeah. A tradition of winning? But when did that tradition start? Was it the state championships that laid the foundation? The district titles that come on an annual basis? Or none of that at all? Maybe it's something more. And tonight, we are going to find out because the Boys of Fall are back. Presented by Lubbock ISD TV.
And with that, Lubbock ISD TV presents Chapter 68 of Monterey football as the Plainsmen from 50th Street are set to host the Bronchos from Odessa High. It's week 1 and the 15th rendition of these two teams battling it out. Who will win? Who will start their season off right? We're about to find out. Devin Ward here alongside Carson Ward here in the booth tonight, and football is back. Carson, pumped to have you. Pumped to have you joining us here tonight on Lubbock ISD YouTube channel. We're so grateful for everybody tuning in. And a big one to start out tonight. These two teams seem to play each other a lot starting the season, and it seems right that we're here tonight.
It does seem right, and you know, trials and tribulations happen. We're supposed to come to another game, but you know what? I'm excited. I think this game's going to be high and full of energy. I can't wait.
I can't wait either. There's some big names that you need to know coming into this matchup, and we're going to preview both teams. Of course, we're going to start with the visiting team for tonight. There's a 4-star player that is going to line out at wide receiver for Odessa High, and that is Ivan Carrion. He is a senior that is returning this season, and he recently committed to the University of Oklahoma. Carrion stands out head and shoulders above the majority of his teams, and his opponent sitting at 6'6" tall, giving an additional advantage to the Broncos offense. He is their top target, and he will be a major focus today for Monterey. As a guy that stands 5'3" and has a big dream, Carson, that would be so hard to cover.
It would be. It would be.
It absolutely would. They do have a new starting quarterback tonight as well. Odessa High does. Mickey Cota will be getting the start for him. What does he bring to the offense? He brings a whole new dimension. So when you think you need to take care of Ivan, quarterback Mickey Cota, we're going to give you a whole new things to worry about. He can make throws. He can scramble. He can get away. He has speed. He's strong. He's a name you need to know for Odessa High tonight. Now, on the other side, the Monterey Plainsmen, of course, didn't have the season they wanted last year. Under first-year head coach Judd Thrash, he's now had a whole offseason with the team. They have a lot of excitement within the program. And a guy that they told us to highlight, that we should highlight tonight, cha-ching, Cash Lewis.
Cash Lewis is back for another season and will be challenged all night. He'll be lined up against Ivan Carrion, who you mentioned just now, and on the defensive end, and he will have his hands full with him all night.
He's also expected to play offense as well. He will be the top target for the next guy that we're previewing, and that's Luke Arrington. He's going to be rocking a new number. It kind of surprised me a little bit. I was thinking he was number 11. He's now number 5, and he completed over 50% of his passes last year in the games that he started, and he's expected to have a big night.
Yeah, and he was actually doing really well last season before he got hurt. It's just a shame that he did, because who knows what kind of season he would have had based off those 4 games that he did play.
Absolutely, and we're excited to see him get the chance. He's 6'5", and he can throw the deep ball really well. Maybe he hits Cash Lewis. I don't know. It'd be a lot of fun to see. Make sure you stay with us, though. We're going to be broadcasting this game live on YouTube. When we come back, we're kicking things off. It's Game 1. Broncos, Plainsmen. Who do you got? We'll find out right after this.
Hello, my name is Henry.
My name is Angel. My name is Lily.
I am one of the many Lubbock ISD TV students learning professional broadcast skills right now.
We have the opportunity to work with professional equipment during our high school sports coverage.
Learning skills that have allowed many of our students to work college sporting events with professional networks.
If you appreciate our coverage, we hope you'll consider one of our sponsorship opportunities.
Your support will help our program continue to grow, providing funds that allow us to learn using the latest broadcast and streaming technologies.
If you'd like to support us,
Contact Kenneth Dixon with the information on your screen. And thank you for watching.
Hello, my name is Nevaeh.
Hello, my name is Isaac.
Hello, my name is Abby.
And I'm one of the many Lubbock ISD TV students bringing you tonight's live stream.
If you appreciate our coverage, we hope you'll consider one of our sponsorship opportunities,
Your support gives us the opportunity to travel to state and national competitions.
Where we represent our entire district in audio and video production contests.
Last season, our students received multiple awards in Skills USA and the Student Television Network.
If you'd like to support us, contact Kenneth Dixon with the information on your screen.
And thank you for watching.
Coaching is the Plainsmen set to host the Bronchos tonight. Carson, these two teams are awfully familiar with each other playing in Week 1. This is the 9th time in 10 seasons that these two teams will play each other in Week 1. That one season that they didn't play was affected by COVID back in 2020, so it would have been, you know, a perfect streak, but
It would have.
yes. So I'm ready, and I'm excited. Monterey, coming into this, the last 4 meetings, have won 3 out of the last 4. But last year on the road, it was the Broncos that came away victorious. And, you know, and that was a really close game, back and forth contest. And I know Monterey remembers that for sure. And I know they're ready to get after it.
Yeah, and it was a very, very high-scoring game. It was 49-32. Odessa took the win right there. But it was really the plays in the first downs that Odessa capitalized on. They had 75 total plays as compared to Monterey's 61 and had 9 more first downs. And when you do that, you're obviously going to be taking more time off the clock, and ultimately Monterey just ran out of time.
So tonight, it's going to be Odessa High kicking the football off to the Plainsmen. The Plainsmen rocking some new digs this year. They look pretty good in those new uniforms. It's the Plainsmen script on the side of the helmet, black jerseys. I think they're looking pretty sharp, Carson.
I think so, too. They're going to be standing out on left field today in a good way, not a bad way.
Right. Well, and the numbers, they pop. So we will not get any numbers wrong tonight. And as I say that, I jinxed myself, so we're going to knock on some wood,
Yep,
huh?
knock on wood.
Of course, Carson is a senior at Coronado, and he is an aspiring sports journalist one day, right? Did I get that correct?
You did. I'm actually going to go to UNT, which I know you have talked to me a lot about last year.
It's a great program.
And I am excited. I can't wait to start the next chapter of my life down there in Denton and eventually in Frisco.
Of course, we talk about great programs. These two schools have great football programs. Of course, for Monterey, their program starts all the way back in 1955. Of course, like I said off the top, tonight we're kicking off Chapter 68. And nothing beats it. The sound of the drums, we are about to get underway. Football's back, and it is an end-over-end kick. And Monterey's going to jump on it. That's Jamarcus Smith smothering it up, and that's where Luke Arrington in this offense is going to get the start for tonight. Of course, for Monterey, there are 9 starters back on this offense. Experience is a huge part of football. Carson, we can all agree with that. And for Monterey, they have 9 players that started last season on the offensive side of the ball. Luke Arrington being one of them, throwing the rock, and the entire offensive line is back. So the big guys up front that really set the tone are all back, and they're all experienced, and I'm anxious to see what this Monterey offense does.
Well, and if you're Luke Arrington, you're glad to have all 5 of your guys blocking for you for another season. It's just got to make him more comfortable.
There are going to be a lot of different formations that you see tonight. Of course, starting out for the Plainsmen is the shotgun. And there'll be a handoff to get things started there. It's going to be a shoestring tackle. Of course, on the carry for the Plainsmen, Christian Williams. He is a senior, standing at 5'11". On the other side of the ball, though, let's talk about Odessa High. They got a lot of experience back for them as well. And it's really I believe in their secondary, right? On the defensive side of the ball, they're led by safety Javen Gonzalez, along with Zane Mariah and Deshaun Douglas. Those are the names you need to know on the defensive side of the ball. The secondary, pretty strong for Odessa High. Great crowd on hand for tonight. And, of course, we thank everybody for tuning in on Lubbock ISD's YouTube. Make sure you follow, subscribe, like, do all the things so you can get notified. We'll be broadcasting our Friday night games here on YouTube. It's going to be another carry for Williams. Powering forward, only gained for about a gain of 3 or 4 on the play. It's going to be 3rd down and 1.
Well, in last game, Monterey outpassed Odessa, and with 314 yards as compared to Odessa's 306. It's not a big margin, but they still did that. But I think they might try to mix things up, might try to run the ball a little bit more, maybe not try to force anything downfield if they don't have to.
The character and discipline is the strength of the team this year, according to Coach Thrash. for the Monterey Plainsmen, and it's these kind of plays right here on 3rd down and 2 is where you see the strength. It's a handoff up the middle to Jamarcus Smith, powering forward, and he's going to get the first down, move the chains.
And just a hard, tough run right there. You love seeing that from any running back ever.
And that's not just any running back. That's also backup quarterback, Jamarcus Smith. If you look at the roster, it says QB/RB. And so when you see him out there, he might be a dual threat option for you instead of just running the ball. Defense needs to be aware of that if you're Odessa High.
Well, and whenever I was watching the Monterey games last year, when they used him, he reminded me a lot of Donovan Smith for Texas Tech whenever they had him before he transferred. And if you see him at quarterback, you know a run play is going to happen. You just don't know how it's going to happen.
Exactly. Trips to this close side for Arrington. It's going to be a handoff to Smith. I love seeing him run the ball. He's so elusive, and he'll get tackled at about the 50-yard line. Hey, 4 to 5 yards at a time, that's going to move the chains, and Monterey will take that on this opening drive right now.
I couldn't agree more. And on the opening drive, you want to have a statement of any sort. That could be a big play downfield, or it could be taking away the clock, which is exactly what Monterey's doing.
I like what you said there, Carson, because it is a statement, right? You've been preparing all offseason long for the opening drive, for this moment here, right? These guys have been prepping, going against their fellow teammates for this moment. And so, yeah, this is a statement drive for Monterey.
And I'm sure we won't expect anything different from Odessa when they get the ball.
As Arrington's looking around, he might be audible in the play there.
Yeah, as a quarterback, you see things that no one else does on the field.
It's a screen pass and getting slung down by the back of his shirt. Coach Thrash there calling for it, seeing if it would be a horse collar. That'll be a gain of about 1 or 2 on the play. That screen pass last night, Carson, was super effective for Coronado, and you see the Plainsmen, or not Coronado, Estacado rather, and you're seeing the Plainsmen trying that out there, trying to get some playmakers out in space.
Yeah, and that's really a really easy way to do it. If you get them out in space, you get a couple blockers in front of them, they can make the play happen by themselves. Obviously, the blockers play a big role, but your feet play a bigger role.
Absolutely. Arrington trying to get them to jump off sides. The Broncos almost bid on it. It'll be a handoff. Trying to power his way forward. Still, the wheels are turning. That's a first down. Great power run there by the Plainsman, Des Williams. Lowering his shoulder there, Carson, and not letting the tackles get him down.
Yeah, and like I said, tough running. You love seeing it, and you're going to see it a lot in this game. Like you said earlier, these two teams know each other way too well.
They do.
And they're going to be fighting tooth and nail, as you would say.
Tooth and nail.
Tooth and nail.
Carson's quoting me already, and we're just a few minutes into this quarter.
They're going to be fighting tooth and nail for this win.
Yeah, they're hungry. Especially after Monterey's season last season, right? They never imagined that they would have their first winless season. It's Jamarcus Smith. Again, another great run. Backs up, and he's going to be close to the first down, Carson. I think he's going to be about a yard short. Of course, this is game 1 of 3 on the road for Odessa High. They spend the first 3 weeks of the 2023 season on the road. Starts tonight here, obviously. The first Broncos home game will be on September 15th against the Amarillo High Sandies. So they're about to become some road warriors.
Well, and I want to highlight what you just said a couple seconds ago, Mr. Ward.
Okay.
Monterey might have gone 0-10 last year, but the hidden gem in that stat is that 4 of those games were within 1 score. If they can find a way to capitalize in the big moments this year, this Monterey squad could be ultra scary. I don't know about you, but I can't wait to see them and see how their year runs this year.
Absolutely, and I think that goes back to what Coach told us is the strength of this program, and that is the grit, the discipline. Ball's loose on the ground. Arrington recovers. He just had to dive on it there, Carson.
Yeah, and that's all you have to do sometimes. You want to make sure you still have the ball. You want to make sure you're not giving the defense any sort of chance to get that ball and to possibly have a momentum swing.
See Arrington out there communicating. Of course, they have a new offensive coordinator this season out at Monterey. Under second-year head coach, Judd Thrash. Of course, Odessa High's head coach is Dusty Ortiz. Ortiz is in his 3rd season. And for Odessa High, their goal for this year is plain and simple, playoffs. That's what they have in mind. So that pass is going to be caught and tackled behind the line of scrimmage. It's going to be, if not a loss, pretty close to it. It's going to be 3rd down and about 16.
Yeah, and sometimes in those situations, yeah, you gain 2 yards, but depending on where you're at and how far back you're going, you might as well just throw that ball away or try not to catch it. Sometimes that's the better option.
That defensive lineman there chipped the shoulder of one of the blockers there and was able to break away. That was a great move there by the defensive lineman for Odessa High. Of course, Odessa High is in Class 6A, and they got a pretty stacked schedule this year as well, and we'll dive into that later on in the broadcast when they're on offense. But here's Arrington, and the whistle's going to be blown dead. It's going to be a timeout for Monterey. It's their first timeout. Of course, every timeout this season for our Lubbock ISD TV broadcast is a UMC Children's Hospital timeout. I do want to say thank you to UMC Children's Hospital. They've taken care of my children in their time of need. And so, again, every timeout is presented by UMC Children's Hospital. Something must have happened there, Carson, for Coach to call timeout like that. As Arrington was looking to the sideline, you see the coaching staff from Monterey call a quick timeout.
Yeah, I also saw whenever they did call a timeout, Luke Arrington didn't seem to be happy about that timeout. He wanted to run that play. He might have saw something on the defensive side that said, hey, I want to run this play, but the coaches might have saw something different.
Right. Of course, this is the first game of on YouTube this season. I'm checking out to see how many people we got watching. We got a great crowd tuning in tonight. Of course, spread the link, right? Let people know that we're broadcasting this game tonight, especially if you're a Plainsmen fan or Odessa High fan, right? Let people know that we're doing this and it's on a free platform, and spread the word.
Yeah, and I don't know about you, Mr. Ward, but I like watching sports for free. I don't want to have to pay a subscription just to watch one team play.
Absolutely. So the difference maker for Odessa this season is in their defense, is what Coach says. In 2022, the Broncos offense scored on average 27 points in their 7 losses, while their defense gave up on average 49 points. Coach Ortiz said he's taken personal responsibility for getting Odessa's defense right and up to speed this year. And we were talking about a statement for Monterey on this drive. I think they would want to make a statement as well. As Arrington going over to the top to Cash Lewis, and that's going to be a flag. There'll be a pass interference and a new first down for Monterey, as there is a Plainsman down on the field right now. Slowly getting up, as you see there, is number 75, Case Carpenter.
And you love seeing his teammates help him get up off the ground. You know, that just shows a good community in your team.
Absolutely. No, and that's the camaraderie. Yeah, you take care of your guys, and you saw it right there. We're going to hear from our official for the first time tonight.
That penalty is declined. Pass interference. Correction, number 4 on the pass interference. Number 11 on the holding. Number 4, pass interference defense. 15-yard penalty to the previous line of scrimmage. First down.
All right, that's Robert Cameron. Carson and I had a chance to talk to Robert pre-game. This is his 48th season officiating. Out of 51 years is what he said. And he has some major college football experience. And so Robert Cameron, our white hat for tonight. I know we have a sideline report coming up with our sideline reporter. We'll get to him right after this play. So from the 19-yard line, here we go. It's going to be a handoff, and right up the middle, gaining a few yards on the play, is Christian Williams. Dom, what do you got down there, man? I bet you got a great sideline report. Take it away.
Thanks, Ward. Miss Karin, excuse me. The new school year has started. How do you and the students feel?
It has been a great start to the year. We've got so many kids enrolling every single day, and it's so much fun to see the kids that are coming in from all of our feeder pattern schools and joining Monterey, and watching how everybody's just becoming a family so quickly.
All right. Ms. Karin, since the new football season has started, how do you think the students feel, and how do you feel about the new upcoming homecoming season?
Oh, we're really looking forward to this season. These kids have worked so hard all summer long and since school started, and they have this new energy about them, and it's going to be a good season.
All right, thank you. Sending it back to you, Mr. Ward.
All right, thanks so much, Dom. We're in the red zone here, Carson. It is 1st and goal from the 3-yard line after that carry by Jamarcus Smith, and they're going to give it to him again. He dives forward. He'll be at the 1-yard line. Yeah, there's a buzz around all of our campuses this year, Carson, about the new school year, getting excited. And there's a lot of excitement around the football programs as well, with the new turf, the new track, and all the great amenities here at Lowry Field. You can feel the energy.
You certainly can.
So here comes the probably the jumbo unit for Monterey, right? You send out a few extra linemen so you can get that final push. I see Grayson Archer out there, one of our former students, lining up at tight end.
Well, and it's really, really hard to pass on the goal line. You take a big risk, and you don't necessarily know what play to run.
And they're going to blow the whistle dead here. I think we're going to be hearing from our official.
Monterey, it's the second charge.
All right, there's another UMC Children's Hospital timeout. Monterey calling timeout, and once again, Arrington communicating with the sidelines right as the timeout was coming. Of course, there is our UMC Health System Children's Hospital timeout. Of course, we do want to thank Chick-fil-A tonight for feeding our awesome crew. Every person running a camera tonight is one of our awesome students, and we're so grateful for all of them showing up and working. So tonight, our food sponsor, thank you for feeding our student crew. Eat more chicken, it's Chick-fil-A. Can't go wrong with Chick-fil-A, and we thank them for feeding our crew tonight and taking care of us. It is hot down there, and our students are nourished and ready to roll thanks to Chick-fil-A.
I couldn't agree more. And Mr. Ward, I got a question for you.
All right.
What's your go-to meal from Chick-fil-A?
Number 2, large with a sweet tea, because their sweet tea is elite.
It is elite.
It is elite.
And I know you love your sweet tea.
Can't go wrong with it, man. Can't go wrong with it. All right, here we go. 2nd and 1 from the 1-yard line. 4:44. This has been a long drive for Monterey to get things rolling here.
Yeah, but I don't think they're complaining. I think this is exactly the game plan that they had, is they run it into the end zone.
Yeah, give them 6. Christian Williams, great side cut, scores the first touchdown of the season for Monterey, and they take the lead with 4:40 to go here in the first quarter.
And you love seeing that. They took almost 8 whole minutes off of the clock, and you love seeing that for momentum reasons and for reasons that they were against last season.
Right. No, and when you're the defense and you were on the field for that long, it makes you tired, especially with how hot it is. Even if it being drive 1 of the game, that could come up in the 4th quarter, this 8-minute drive here.
Oh, and you know all of those players on the field just then, they're all sweating bullets.
Gio Cardenas with the extra point, and he is money. We were watching him pregame, and he is really good at kicking the football and putting it through the uprights.
And there is a flag on the play.
Wasn't 100% sure what it was, but we see some of the Plainsmen running off the field as they're getting ready to probably for kickoff. So I think it's going to be nothing here, or we might hear from our officiating crew, Robert Cameron. He's reaching to turn his mic on, so I bet we do. Let's hear what he has to say. Maybe not. He's waiting for confirmation there, Carson. It happens. It happens. So we're coming up. We're about to see the Odessa High offense for the first time this season, and they got a new quarterback leading the charge for them, and a great running back in DeJohn Green.
Defense.
There he is. We're going to hear from him first.
And will be enforced on the kickoff. The try was successful.
All right, so the extra point try is good. Before we see Odessa High come out onto the field, we're going to go back down to Dominic Martinez. He caught up with Coach Judd Thrash moments before he kicked off his 2nd season leading the Monterey Plainsmen. Dom, take it away.
You guys have an exciting year planned up this year. And how do we feel about tonight's game?
I feel good. You know, the kids have worked extremely hard, and I feel like they're trained and they're ready to go, you know. The work's been done, so now it's up to the kids, you know. We're just going to get out there and let them play because they've been working since November, so they know what they're doing, so I'm very excited about them.
Thank you, Coach. I'll send it back to Mr. Ward in the booth.
All right, thanks so much, Dom. We just witnessed a 14-play drive, Carson, that took off, 7 minutes, 20 seconds off of the clock, punched in by that 1-yard touchdown run. And, man, what an effective way to start the year for the Monterey Plainsmen offense. And that's a good group, right? When your offensive line is your strength, to me, on any team, if your offensive line goes, it's kind of like your backbone of the team, right? You move the way the offensive line moves, and they're stacked there on that side of the on side of offense.
Well, and it's just a confidence boost for the rest of the team, not even just a quarterback and running back running behind them.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a morale boost for every single player on the team because you're getting your main 5 guys back.
Absolutely. So let's talk about Odessa High. Leading the charge and getting his first start in his high school football career is going to be Mickey Cota. He says that he's dreamed of playing under the Friday night lights, and tonight it's his first time to shine. He's put in tons of work this offseason to prepare to be the QB for the Odessa High Broncos and gel with his teammates, and from everything that I've heard, his teammates love him. I'm anxious to see number 2 out there getting his first snaps here tonight.
Well, you just got to feel good for him. You got to feel good for any new player that could be on this field tonight, because they're getting their chance, and they've worked their whole lives for this moment.
You know, moments ago we talked about the offensive line for Monterey and how they're experienced. On the other end, Odessa is just the same way, as they're going to lose some yardage on their first play. Coach Thrash is excited on that one. The offensive line for Odessa High is an experienced group that has seniors starting in every spot except for the right tackle. The right tackle is a junior, but with the experience that he has, this group is primed to have a big year as well and set the tone up front. Of course, I want to see Coda throw it. I want to see what kind of arm he's got as well. We know he's a dual threat guy that can run it. It's going to be another handoff and getting stood up at the line, but still escaping and being taken down. Great job swarming to the football by that Monterey defense.
Yeah, and they're going to be wanting to do that all night, but I think Odessa is going to really want to try to have a first drive like Monterey had. I think there's 2 ways that you can counter a long, lengthy drive like we just saw from Monterey, and that's either by taking the clock out yourself or by going down the field as quick as possible and trying to get that initial 7 points back.
I agree with that. Here's the first throw by Coda. A great spiral, and did they get to the line of the line to gain? It's going to come down to the spot. Looks like he's going to be about 2 yards short there, Carson. It's going to be 4th down. And this is a tricky spot if you're going to go for it here, right? The numbers say, if you're an analytics person, that this is an opportunity to go for it. But where you're placed on the field could lead to trouble if you don't get it.
It could, but it's not the worst spot you could be. I think if you're maybe 5 or 10 yards further back, you're most definitely punting. I think if you're here or 5 or 10 yards forward, then it's definitely territory where you're going for it.
Yeah, and if you're Coach Joey McGuire, I think it's less than 4 yards. They're going for it.
Oh yeah. Mr. Ward, you were talking about some of the gains and the strengths of the Odessa Broncos, but I want to talk about some of the guys that they lost.
Yeah, and we're going to do that while we have this UMC Children's Hospital timeout. Let's go for it, Carson. Let's hear it.
All right. Odessa had a lot of star power from their seniors last year, but now that they're gone, a lot of guys are going to have to step up and possibly play a bigger role than they anticipated. Just to name a few, their starting quarterback, who you mentioned is gone now, and their 3 running backs from last year were all seniors. Now, this could be interesting because this could mean rebuild for the Broncos, or it could mean let's play ball.
All I know is that they're talking up Day Green, the running back for Odessa High, a lot. They say a lot of great things about him. And this wide receiving core is deep for Odessa High. Of course, you obviously think about Ivan Carrion, but rightfully so. He is talented and really a deep threat and an option for them to go to on any play. But the wide receiving core is so deep that you can't double team them. And so they have a lot of weapons on their offense. And I think the key is trying to get everybody their chance with the football, right?
Yeah, you have to spread the rock out if you're on an offensive team. You can't just have 1 or 2 players doing majority of the horse load.
That's it's fitting because they're the Broncos, right?
Right. No pun intended.
Yeah. Great punt there by Ivan Carrion. He flipped the field right there, and the Broncos decided to punt the ball away. So here comes the Plainsmen after an effective 14-play drive behind the great running backs that they have there. And do we see the same recipe here again? Right, they establish the run, and a lot of times when teams establish the run, it opens up the air. But do we see them continue to run the football and set the tone there?
I think you do. I think you have the same sort of drive that you had your first drive, not only because it made the defense tired, but also because it worked. If you're going to stick with something, stick with what works. We know that from experience just in life in general.
Yeah, if it's not broke, why fix it, right?
Exactly.
A lot of movement pre-snap for the Plainsmen, and I've noticed that with this drive and the start of this one as well. It's going to be a handoff to Jamarcus Smith. A great cut. He's good about planting his foot and accelerating there, Carson, and he was able to gain about 8 yards on that play.
Yeah, and that's just what you have to do. That's the running back's job, is to take the ball and run with it, literally.
Yeah, quite. Yeah, that's what he did.
And when you're a hard runner, it's that much easier because the harder you're putting your feet in the ground, the easier it is to cut, the easier it is to fake out defenders.
So here we are, 2nd down and 2 from the 21-yard line. This drive started at the 12. It's going to be a handoff to Smith, and he's got the first down. Move the chains. Another great start here from Monterey with this drive.
Well, and I'm going to go back to what we were hitting on just a second ago, Mr. Warden. Whenever teams get out of a groove and they try to mix things up, with whether that means going straight to passing or if they were passing and now they're wanting to go to run, I think when you start veering off of what worked, that's when problems start occurring.
Right.
And if you're Monterey, especially with the 7-point lead right now, you want to keep doing what's working. You want to keep running the ball. You want to throw the ball only when needed. That way you eliminate as much risk as you can.
Here's Arrington here. He's showing his guys some movement here. It'll be a screen pass. If he can get by the defender there, he had a chance to go somewhere, but pushed out of bounds, and it's going to be 2nd down. You know, we were talking about tough and being physical, and that comes with running the football. When we asked Coach Thrash, what will the Plainsmen look like this season, that's exactly what he said. They'll be a tough physical team that plays hard as they physically can. Coach wants to see his team give 110% and ride for the brand, as well as TMW. What does TMW stand for, Carson? You know, all these schools have these different slogans, right? What does TMW stand for?
Man, I'm trying to think. No, I don't know. Enlighten me. Let's hear it.
Tough men win.
There you go.
The Plainsmen talk about toughness and mental toughness daily, and they hope that translates onto the field. I like that, TMW. Great handoff and another cut to the inside. It'll be a gain of about 5 on the play for Christian Williams. I love that they're not just having one running back in there, right? They're spreading the wealth between three different running backs here.
Well, and when you're handing the ball off as much as Monterey is today so far, if you're only having one guy get the ball, it's going to tire him out way more than you would really want, especially if he's your starting running back. You want to get mixed reps between all of your running backs. That way they all have a chance to show that they can make a play themselves.
Boom, and bobbling the ball and losing it. Fall down, incomplete. Just a little too high there for Sylvain Ross Stewart, the tight end. I believe that's only like the 2nd or 3rd pass all game here, Carson.
I think so.
Here comes the punt team for the Plainsmen.
They haven't passed a whole lot, but they haven't needed to, really.
They haven't been in a situation where they've had to, but that's going to be a turnover on downs or a punt, obviously, and the ball will go to Odessa High, and that's what they want, right? They want more stops this year, right? Their defense gave up a lot of points last year, and so this is promising for their defense.
It really is, and especially if you're wanting to have a game like you did last year, you're going to want to make stops. That way you can answer your unanswered points already.
And it's going to be a low punt, and it's going to go out of bounds. Went off the side of Ryden Jordan's foot, and he's not happy about it. And so here comes the Odessa offense with great field position as they'll start in Plainsman territory.
Yeah, and now if you're Odessa, this is the time that you really want to capitalize on this very big opportunity.
Absolutely. You're in prime territory. Of course, they had a 4-and-out, 4 plays, and they were done last drive. And so I think Coach Ortiz and company are going to want to see a little bit more from this offense because they have so many promising weapons.
I agree. And right now, with them already being in Monterey territory, you almost wonder if a field goal is a letdown. I don't think it is because then you're getting a score back, but obviously touchdowns are always a goal.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what you were saying there, Carson. I don't think it would be a letdown. I think points on the board is always a positive. Over the middle and incomplete behind his receiver there. I think he was thinking he was going to cut back out, and it's going to fall incomplete. It's one of the many weapons there for Odessa High. That's Andrew Rodriguez. He's a sophomore, and man, he was talked about a lot in the preseason interviews leading up to this season.
When you really want your younger guys, your freshmen that could possibly be on varsity, you want your sophomores and your juniors especially to be your big name guys. That way you keep having them for 1 or 2 more years after.
Yeah, you can keep molding them. That's off the hands of one of the Monterey Plainsmen there, Jaron Gomez on the coverage. A matchup you want to watch tonight, though, was on the bottom of your screen. It's going to be Cash Lewis against Ivan Carrion. 2 next-level athletes, of course. Carrion is committed to Oklahoma. He's a 4-star recruit. And Cash Lewis, number 2 down there, he has next level potential, especially in basketball as well. We watched him with the Plainsmen last season. He's on the bottom of your screen right here. Carry on the 50. Of course, Cash Lewis on the 40. And we talked to Coach Thrash pregame, and he said he's going one-on-one with him tonight. Trying to go to him here. Over the top, and God, what a ball! That's a 48-yard dart from Coda to Caron, and that's going to cut the lead down to 1.
Well, and you're talking about the ball placement. I'm talking about the reach.
Yeah, absolutely. What a snag. Let's take a look at this instant replay. For Coda, he was looking there the whole way. He knew he wanted to go to his top target, and he had a step on Cash Lewis, and he finished it off there.
I was about to say, they're going to want to test that matchup multiple times, see if Cash Lewis on defense could make some plays, or see on the opposite side if Odessa can make a play.
I guarantee you, Coach Ortiz wants to see number 1 get at least 10 to 15 touches tonight.
Oh yeah, for sure.
At least when you have a Division I player like that on your team on the field, you want to get them the ball as much as you can, and that's target number 1 of many tonight. And that's blocked. And Monterey's picking it up.
They're going to try to run it back.
They are. Carry-on is in front of them. And him stalling it out was enough time for the Broncos to come and catch up to him. The Plainsman defense gives up a score, but it's the special teams that don't allow them to tie it up 7-6.
And you love seeing that. Special teams is so hard to get a stop or a turnover on, but when you see it happen, it's like poetry in motion.
Here's the instant replay of it. It was blocked right there. You see him going up and high pointing that. That came off of Gavin Gardolia. He's a junior, 6 foot tall, and just enough to get up there and block that thing. They practice that all the time. And I saw Estacado yesterday in their pregame warm-up, Carson, when they had the extra point kicking. They had the entire team jumping up and down, pretending like they were going to block it. And I think that's what we just saw right there, an actual block, though.
Yeah, and that's where just practice becomes perfect, you know? Enough reps at it, you're going to get good at it.
So here comes Odessa High. They're going to come kick it off, and you see some smiles in the stands. It's one of our audio-video production students. I recognize them. So 24 seconds to go. We've seen a lot of action here in the first half. We've seen both teams have 2 possessions. And, of course, Monterey with the super long one. That was 7 minutes and 20 seconds that led to their score. Carson, did we count how many plays that one was? I got away from tracking.
That was 4 plays.
Was it 4 plays?
It was 4 plays.
Okay.
Starting from the 48 as we see another pooch kick here.
And it's going to be fair caught by Jamarcus Smith at about the 28-yard line. OHS taking some strides. The Odessa Broncos have taken strides in each of the 3 years that head coach Dusty Ortiz has been there. Coach Ortiz led Odessa to back-to-back 3-win seasons after inheriting a winless program in 2021. This season, he is prepared to lead this team and take an even bigger step in making the playoffs. That's their goal. Odessa will have to beat the odds, though, if they want to win the district title. Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine predicts the Broncos to finish last as they have the past 4 seasons. Do you read the Dave Campbell's Magazine, Carson? I'm a big fan of it.
I know you are, but I haven't read it, so I can't speak on my behalf of my knowledge on that. But I'm going to trust your instinct. I'm going to trust you when I hear that you read that.
Great defense there by Odessa High. Jamarcus Smith just spinning and eventually getting taken down after a loss of 3 on the play. Again, I like that. They're keeping the wheels churning, and they're not, going down after the initial contact. Yards after contact might be a stat that we need to start collecting here tonight, right?
Oh, for sure. That's where all your plays happen. It's not just the throw or the catch. It's what happens after the catch or after the handoff.
Absolutely. 7-6 the score here after the first quarter. We're going to take a quick timeout as you're watching Lubbock ISD football on Lubbock ISD YouTube channel, presented by Lubbock ISD TV. Carson Ward next to me and the entire Lubbock ISD TV crew. We thank you for tuning in tonight. Carson, what a difference a years make for the Monterey Plainsmen. When you look at the sidelines down there tonight, you see a lot of different jerseys, a lot of different student athletes out there playing. Last year, by the end of the year, there was only about 30 players on the roster for Monterey's varsity team, and tonight they have 58 players suited up. Depth can be a key factor in football games. This year, the Plainsmen got it.
Well, and that's what you want. You want to have a depth-heavy team. If you're not, then you might not be sure, you don't have the comfortability of switching people out. Like you said earlier, they've been switching out the running backs. If you have 30 players, you are not as comfortable with doing that.
Right. So we got some of the stats from the first quarter. Of course, the score 7-6, Plainsmen on top of the Broncos. Very different stories for these two teams. Monterey rushed the ball 15 times for 70 yards, while Odessa High, 2 carries, -1 yards. But in the passing department, Odessa High is leading that 57 to -1. Arrington going to the middle. That could have been trouble, but it was overthrown and will fall incomplete. He was trying to go after his guy, Cash Lewis.
He was indeed, but if he would have looked a little bit further to his left, he was going to see number 80, Bronze Render, and he was wide open.
So time of possession as well, continuing on with the stats, as we're about to see the punt team for the second time tonight with Ryan Jordan heading out there. Time of possession has been big between the two teams. Odessa High, 2 minutes, 19 seconds, compared to Monterey's 9 minutes, 41 seconds. And that was that first drive. That was 7 minutes and 20 seconds that just ate up every bit of the clock.
Yeah, and that's what you want when you run the ball that much. You just want to, I hate saying the word waste, but you want to waste the clock. You don't want to let your opponent have any chance at all to get anything going.
That was a high snap there. Jordan had to get it off because there was a chance that a Bronco could have blocked it, and he got a great bounce there as it will be stopped at the 31-yard line.
You think the wind might have helped there?
A little bit. The wind is coming from the southeast, heading towards the northwest. And that very much could have helped. That's the truth, yeah. But great punt there by number 31, Ryan Jordan.
Oh, yeah. That leg was there.
Well, and knowing him, he was in our program last year. He's hard on himself because he wants to be a great punter. That's a great way to bounce back for that young man, right? He didn't have the first punt that he wanted. He got one right there that he was able to bounce back on.
Well, that's just something I love about sports, is that every single sport is a game of opportunity. If you mess up, you're going to have another chance to correct yourself.
Absolutely, yeah.
Or redeem yourself, let me put it that way.
Right, and baseball is the most humbling, right?
It is.
Yeah, because if you do good 1 out of 3, you're doing great. As there's a handoff to get this drive going, spinning out of a tackle, great run. That's a first down. Zane Minuarez on the carry. That was a great run there by Minuarez. He spun out of a tackle and just kept going. We're seeing some pretty good running back play here tonight, Carson.
We are, and you like to see different aspects of the running game. Obviously, from Monterey, we've seen more of a power run, but we also have seen a little bit of elusiveness. That run right there, pure elusiveness. We love to see it.
Trips on this close side, and it'll be a quarterback keeper. We've been expecting to see something like this tonight with his dual threat ability. It's an RPO action. And that'll gain about 7 or 8 on that carry by quarterback Mickey Cota. Or Mikey Cota, that's what it is. I keep calling him Mickey, and I apologize. It is Mikey Cota.
If you wouldn't have told me, I wouldn't have corrected you.
Well, I know our audience is going to be a lot of Odessa High fans, and I want to make sure I get it right. It's important that we get names right.
Well, and especially me. Like, whenever I go to work, I want to make sure I'm saying people's names right. It eats at me if I don't.
Another great run, even though it didn't go for very much, bouncing off of a tackle and needing multiple Plainsmen to take him down was Day Green. Of course, Day was one of the guys that we've been hearing a lot about. He is the starting running back for this team and will be featured a lot tonight in the offense. He looks to be an all-day feature back for this team, helping his first-year starting quarterback, Mikey Cota.
Well, and I'm going to make another reference to last year's game.
Okay.
We've already touched on the time of possession, but we haven't really touched on the rushing yards.
Okay.
Well, Monterey only had 62, and on the flip side, Odessa had 130. So that's why Monterey wasn't able to get anything going.
Big time hit. Sorry to cut you off there, Carson.
You're good.
Flying downhill from that strong safety spot, Des Williams made a statement tackle, flipping the running back over. That's one of those hits that make you stand on your feet. I want to stand up again, Carson, because that was a big one.
I was already standing up.
Let's take a look here on the instant replay. You see him charge down from that strong safety spot as you see him make the cut.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the new way of football, right? You gotta hit him with the shoulder, and it's the way to do it. Great tackle as he went downhill to make that play.
Well, and that's what you're taught as a defensive player. You're taught to go low. If they go low, you go lower.
The chains haven't moved quite yet. The officiating crew just called that it is a first down, but the chain crew hasn't quite moved. As it says on the opposite end from us, Carson, that is 4th down and 1.
Mm-hmm.
You hear some people in the stands questioning what's happening down there on the field. Of course, you got to believe this officiating crew knows exactly what they're doing with Cameron out there in his 48th season.
That's just crazy to me that you love your job that much, you know, and that's so good to see that you're going out there for 48 out of 51 years. That's just amazing.
Absolutely. Oh, and the defense is on top of Coda. He's scrambling, and he's going to get hit hard behind the line of scrimmage for a sack, and it'll be a turnover on downs. There is a flag on the play, but the Monterey sideline is celebrating.
And why would you not?
It was off of the blitz there through the A-gap by the linebacker that forced Coda out of the pocket, and the defense swarmed from there. We're going to hear from Cameron again. Here he is.
Number 3, offense. That penalty is declined. Ball goes over. First down.
That's the right call right there, and it's going to be a turnover on downs. Moments ago, we talked about how Odessa High was primed to have a great drive with the great field position. For the first time tonight, Monterey will be starting in Odessa High territory. Mm-hmm. Copy and paste, another opportunity for them with great field position, right?
Well, and you know the coaching staff for Monterey is like, all right, we have the momentum. We have proven that we have the momentum on both the offensive side and defensive side. So let's put the pedal to the metal here, and let's run this football.
And they're doing that here as he hugs the sidelines. Got to stay in bounds.
They're going to call him out of bounds. They're saying he stepped out.
Deuce Moore on the carry. There is some dirty laundry out here on the field around the 40-yard line. First, I love that name, Deuce Moore. Hope to get to call that his name a little more tonight. That's an awesome name.
That is an awesome name. Reminds me a lot of Deuce Vaughn.
Yep. All right, here's Cameron again.
Personal foul. 25 block.
All right, I think he turned his mic off on us there because it was echoing, but it's going to go against the Plainsmen, and they're going to repeat first down after that play. This year, Carson, programs to me that go on and just do big things and have great coaches and leaders, they go on to do great things, right? Programs that go and do big things. There we go. Oh, here's the penalty of it. Thank you to our awesome crew in the truck. There it is. So that's a blindside block right there.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to take that out of the game. It's important to take that out of the game because injuries happen on the plays like that.
Yeah, and it's just the safety of the players. When you're running away and you're not seeing who's behind you, it can be very, very dangerous. And some people just don't realize that.
It's going to be a screen pass to Deuce Moore, and he's going to try to cut it outside. He breaks away from the defender. Getting back to close to the original 10 yards that they need. That's a great play right there to make up the yards that they lost, Carson.
It is, and like I said, the elusiveness, it's showing on display again.
He's shifty. I like that. He made one cut, and he's hitting that corner. All right, so you can tell when a program has buy-in, though, from the players. I'm going to go back to what I was talking about. And to me, it starts in the off-season training. Do these guys want it? Do they want to build something special? It started in the offseason for the Plainsmen, where they averaged over 60 athletes coming to their offseason workouts, and they hope to see that commitment to training pay off on the gridiron this season.
Mm-hmm.
And through one quarter, in about 4 minutes, you're seeing the physicality, you're seeing the discipline, and you're seeing all the right things that Coach Thrash wants to see on the field.
Well, and another thing is that you're just simply doing what you were taught to do in the preseason. Every single practice, every single rep has been for this moment, for the very first game of the season. And you want to make sure that you are doing every single thing right. And so far, everyone has.
You know, I remember listening to one of the local radio interviews here in town, Carson, and Coach said that they have a little thing that they track the plays that they do against the opposing team's offense on like a wristband, and they did over 1,000 plays preparing for the Odessa High offense in preparation for this game. That's impressive.
That is impressive. That is mind-boggling.
Over 1,000. And also they sprinkled in all the other non-district opponents that they have. So they prepped for Friendship. They prepped for their next game, which is Abilene Wiley, and I believe they prepped for Midland High as well, because all four of the different offenses that they'll play in non-district play run a different style of offense.
Yep. Well, and when you play different teams, everyone has their strengths and their weaknesses, and who's to say that Friendship or even the other teams, they might be better in the air, they might be better in the ground.
Right.
So you're going to have to really focus on their strengths.
Yeah, Friendship is more of a spread style offense. Midland is a more of we're in a lineup, and it's physicality versus physicality. They're going to try to run the football, and they're going to try to make you stop them.
Well, I think if Monterey plays how they're playing tonight so far, I think it's going to be a lot like this game. I don't think they're going to have a problem with it.
We're going to hear from our officiating crew tonight. They're getting their works tonight. Here's Mr. Cameron again.
Offside, number 40, defense. Jumped into the neutral zone and caused an offensive reaction. 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
All right, so here's a new set of downs for the Monterey Plainsmen.
Well, and you can just see that from a mile away. They had about 3 guys jump off sides, and as long as you're the offensive side, you just want to make sure you're snapping that ball as they're jumping. That way you get the easy penalty.
Or if they make contact with you.
Yep.
Right. I believe he made contact with Archer, the tight end, on the opposite side. Looks like they got a 2 tight end set here. It's going to lead to a run here for Jamarcus Smith.
Well, and we saw right there that they had a free safety blitz off the left side. That's kind of the downside to blitzing on rundowns, is that sometimes you can just easily get through them if they don't fill the right gaps.
So talking with Coach Thrash preseason, right, Carson, you want to know what kind of offense, because they got a new offensive coordinator this year, and A.J. Woolley, he's leading the charge this year as the offensive coordinator. What kind of offense are you going to run, right? And he said multiple sets, lots of tight ends. So there's going to be featuring a lot of great blocking and also different opportunities for the tight ends to go out there and run some passes.
Well, and I think tight end's one of the most underrated positions in football, because I think a lot of people view a tight end as a lineman. Like, oh, they're just in the game because it's going to be a run play and they need extra beef on the O-line and help block. But when you get the ball to those guys in space, they can do things that some wide receivers can't, and that's run hard and that's run people over.
Yeah, my favorite Dallas Cowboys, Jason Witten, right? And
prime example.
One of the most iconic plays he ever made was whenever he lost his helmet against the Eagles and kept going.
And so that just shows the grit that some football players have, no matter what the level.
We're in the red zone now, 1st and 10 from the 20. Great cut back in, and that's going to be close to a first down and more. It is tackled down at the 2-yard line. Great run by Christian Williams.
You love to see it.
You do love to see it. It's going to be 1st and goal for the Plainsmen as they quickly get back up to the line. They don't want to have the Odessa High Broncos have a chance to get set. To clap the snap, a handoff to Williams up down the side, and he scores. Give him 6. The Plainsmen extend their lead. It's now 13-6.
When, just like you said, they were running hurry up because they didn't want Odessa to get time to get reset, and they didn't want to have time for Odessa to send in subs.
That was a great, and they train that. They work on that all off season long. When we get in this situation, we're doing this, and they did exactly what they wanted to do there. As you see here on the instant replay, it's Williams back behind that tackle, and he gets in for the score. Great job there by the offensive line, getting the push and allowing him to have his chance to score, and the extra point is good. Monterey up 14-6 over the Broncos of Odessa. We're going to take a quick timeout with 6:24 remaining here in the first half. The Plainsmen starting the season the way they wanted to, right? They got a lead, and they're playing some pretty good football. We'll be back with more right after this here at Lowry Field at Plains Capital Park. 6 plays, 45-yard drive for the Monterey Plainsmen extends their lead. It's now 14-6. And a great end-over-end kick dropped by Odessa High, and they're quickly to recover. Monterey going to smother them down at about the 15-yard line. That's some great stuff there by the special teams unit for Monterey.
It was, and especially if you're Odessa, you love seeing that they tried making something out of nothing right there. Obviously, they dropped the ball, but they knew that they had to make something out of nothing. They got more yards, and now they have a little bit better field position than they would have had.
That's true. Now, if you're Coach Ortiz in this offense that's about to trot back out here, you want to see them respond here, right? Monterey just threw a punch at you, and in a boxing fight, you want to throw it back. And so this is your chance if you're Odessa High to, before the halftime break, right, respond to what the Plainsmen just did.
Well, I think you play this as safe as possible, and I think you do that with running the ball, using the clock, but obviously trying to get down the field. That way you can get a touchdown in before half.
Carson, you know I'm going to counter you.
I know you are.
I want to see them get the ball in number 1's hands.
Well, I do too. I didn't say I didn't want to see that.
All right, so it's going to back them up a little bit. It's going to replay first down. He said half the distance to the goal. And so here we are again. We're going to run first down over again. You think they keep the same play?
I don't know.
It looked like they were going to get it to number 3, Day Green. Scrambling and rolling to his right in the end zone now and throwing it on the run. Great pass, great catch. Jalen Warren there hauling that one in. You got to tip your cap to the quarterback there. Mikey Cota slinging that on the run, looking like a shortstop a little bit.
Yeah, and that's what you want your quarterback to look like. You know, you want to be able for him to make plays with his mind. Not just his arm, not just his legs, with his mind. That's his most valuable asset as a quarterback.
Staying poised and being able to get out of the pocket, seeing the pressure come, and be able to make a play. That was a mature quarterback move for tonight's first-time starter. And it's going to be another penalty going against what looks like Odessa High. If you're an Odessa High fan, you got to be thinking, okay, this is multiple penalties now, pre-snap penalties, and pre-snap penalties will kill any drive. This has got to be a big focus for them whenever they do go into the locker room in the next 5:30, cleaning up those pre-snap penalties.
Yeah, and that's what they were beating Monterey in last game. I know I keep making references to it, but that's how you learn against a certain team, is seeing how you did the season prior.
Oh, man, that could have been a home run right there for the Broncos if they were able to connect just out of the reach of Jalen Warren. Because if he would have caught that, he would have been gone.
Yeah, if he would have caught that, he would have been in space. He would have only had one defender to beat.
So we're going to head on down to the sidelines. We have a sideline report with our own Dominic Martinez, a senior from Lubbock High. Dom, take it away.
Thanks, Mr. Ward. Miss Good Enough, how are you and the cheerleaders feeling about this game tonight?
We are so excited. We're so pumped up. These guys have been working hard all summer, and it's paying off. Coach Thoss has them doing a really good job out here. We're excited. We're thrilled.
Miss Good Enough, how are your cheerleaders feeling about the start of the school year?
The start of the school year is one of our favorite parts of the whole year. We love the fall, all the excitement of the beginning of the school year. We love football. We love cheering out volleyball. We love it.
Thank you, Mr. Ward. Sending it back to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Dom. Yeah, there is a lot of excitement. We're going to hear from our officiating crew right there. I didn't hear what he said. I love that Dom's talking to all these different people here tonight, because there's a lot of different people, Carson, that play a pivotal role in doing these games, right? You got the cheer coaches, you got the principals, you got the athletic coordinators, right? There's a lot of great people that pour in a lot of time into these games that make these Friday nights so special.
Well, and just seeing what the overall emotion and the overall feeling, just from, not from football players or coaches specifically, but just from everyone as a whole, it adds a whole different element of emotion to the game. You know, these football games, they're not just emotional for the players, they're emotional for the fans and the parents and everyone else that is involved in them.
Monterey putting some pressure on Cota, and he escapes at the 25, getting pushed out of bounds. That's a dangerous hit there. because it looked like he was committing to go out of bounds. And you see the Broncos there coming to protect their guy, and that's going to be a first down. The quarterback tucking and running and getting and moving the chains for his team.
Yeah, that's what the big picture shows, but the smaller picture might be, well, are the Broncos going to want a late hit call? Are they going to want an extra 15 or so yards?
You know, from initial look at it, I want to watch this instant replay. Does he commit to going out of bounds or not? He looked like he was cutting, but it didn't look like he was 100% coming out of bounds.
Yeah, normally when they go and show that they're out of bounds, they're slowing down, they're taking longer strides, and I didn't see that from the instant replay.
He looked like he was trying to keep going. Coda gets hit right there as he releases the ball. And he'll be caught for a gain of about a couple there. You like that if you're Monterey? You're putting pressure on him, and right there it was one of the defensive linemen, Jeremiah Ochoa, coming up and popping him pretty good as he got rid of that ball.
Well, and if you're a defense, that's what you want to do. You want to make the quarterback think.
Yeah.
If he's not thinking, one, that could be good, but on the flip side, could be bad. But most times it's good because then he sees what's open more.
Speaking of who's open, that's Ivan Carrion right there as he gets enough for the first down. That's his second catch of the day, and he moves the chains.
And you said you want to see the ball in his hands. I do too.
Yeah, I think if you're an Odessa High fan, you want to see number one with as many opportunities as you can, especially going over the top. Now, he's going up against Cash Lewis. Cash Lewis is 6'3", so it is a height-for-height matchup over there on that far side. But, man, I'd love to see them go to him more.
But I think if you're Monterey, you almost expect that every play. You know that they're going to want to go deep.
As they try to go to another receiver there. Hit me with it, Carson.
But you almost expect them to go deep. You know they want them to get the ball in Ivan Carrion's hands. So now you're trying to find ways to isolate it. They might try double teaming him down the field. They might try putting a deep free safety in a zone back there to try to help Cash Lewis out if need be.
I think they feel confident without. He seems to be on an island out there. If you're watching him on that far side, number 2 is on an island against number 1. They really believe in Cash Lewis. That's why we're always saying cha-ching, cha-ching for him, because he's money.
Yep.
Second down and 10. Going to Carrion. And breaking away from Cash Lewis. His tackle is Carrion. Trying to get him by the shoelaces, and they come and finish him off right there. Deuce Moore announcing his presence against Carrion and taking him down.
Well, and like I just said, now Odessa knows that Monterey expects them to go deep. So now that we saw in that play, Ivan Carrion chopping his feet, turning around on that curl route, making plays after the catch.
So now they're in Plainsmen territory at the 43-yard line. Clock continuing to tick. They're taking some time off the clock here on this drive. Here's the play. It's going to be a running play. Cutting it back into the middle. Running in between the tackles on that play is Day Green. All day, Day, trying to make some noise with running the football there.
Giving him a nickname. I like it.
Dude, I give everybody a nickname. It's a problem.
It is, but it's not a bad problem, all right?
It's a good problem. Of course, from Coach Thrash, this isn't a direct quote from him as well. As soon as last season ended, we talked with our guys about having pride in everything they do. Not just for yourself, but for your team, for your family, and for your school. These guys are going to be hungry this season, and they're prepared to fight this season, and we're seeing that, right? And, and when we came out during pregame, Carson, we were watching Monterey warm up a little bit, and they were wearing their practice jerseys that say pride on it. And we were thinking, man, they're wearing these practice jerseys for the game tonight. But I think it's because Coach wanted them to take pride in the warm-ups and pride in everything they did pregame leading up to this tonight.
Well, and we don't know what Coach Thrash is coaching them behind closed doors, but we do know and we can infer on what we see. And he could be instilling a new culture in the mindset of his players that you need to be taking practice reps and even pregame reps like it's the game. And if you don't, things might not go your way like you expect them to.
Going to the air and overthrowing his receiver by about 5 yards. A little miscommunication between quarterback and receiver there as it falls incomplete. It is now 4th down and 5, and you're in the territory now. Broncos are going for it, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I don't think there's any doubt in anyone's mind right now where they are on the field, they're going for it.
As they look to the sideline over here, you see Coach Ortiz tossing the ball back to the ball boy. Of course, they got a lot of big games on their upcoming schedule. playing in Class 6A. Here's the snap. And slinging it across the carry-on, in and out of his hands, and falls incomplete. That's a turnover on downs, and the Plainsmen will have plenty of time on the clock to see if they can produce something here with 2:38 to go.
The one downfall to this opportunity, though, is that they only have one timeout, so they're going to have to play the sidelines. They're going to have to make sure that they're taking time off the clock, but also making sure they have enough time.
There's a Monterey student athlete down on the sideline. I thought I recognized him with an ice pack on his shoulder already, and you don't want to see that this early into the season.
No, you hate to see injuries, no matter from who it is. You just hate to see it.
Looking across the way, too, at the Odessa side, I see their mascot, an all-red Bronco. That's pretty cool looking. Yeah, you see the student athlete there on the left with the ice pack on his shoulder. We hope nothing too serious for that young man. 2:38 to go, and of course more pre-snap movement for Monterey as Jamarcus Smith is running with the ball, trying to lead forward. Loving that second effort and that grit to fly forward and gain at least a couple yards on that play after being stood up early.
Yeah, it's just making the most out of any situation right there.
Goals for Monterey this season. The goal for the Plainsmen this year is to win the opener against Odessa High. That was #1 on the checklist, and then pursue the playoffs. Last year was all about learning, and this year it's all about getting better every week and being the strongest when you get into that district race. So important. So in the milestone of things for this team tonight to reach their goals, this was one of the check boxes that they wanted to check.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And obviously this, like you just said, this year is about opportunity. They had their learning curve. They went 0-10 last year, but that's not the team that that's not descriptive of the team that they were.
Absolutely. They were like literally 4 to 5 plays away from winning a lot of different games, right? They were in a lot of different games. I think you had a stat earlier, Carson, that they lost 4 games by like a couple points. And so they were in a lot of different games. Now, we do want to give a shout out during our timeout here that UMC Children's Hospital is our timeout sponsor. We're super grateful for them. And again, we got to give a major shout out to our food sponsor for tonight. Our food sponsor is Chick-fil-A. Thank you for feeding our student crew. Of course, you got to eat more chicken, and our team got down on some chicken tonight. Take a look at that awesome photo and all of our awesome students. Carson, how many students are there in that photo? There's got to be more than, we got to be at close to 20.
A lot, yeah.
Our producer tells us in the ear, simply stated a bunch of students, and that's awesome. We're so grateful for all of our students and grateful for our food sponsor, Chick-fil-A, for feeding our crew tonight. I'm going to have to go down there and see if there's any more boxes left. I need to eat some more chicken.
I know I need to.
Great student section tonight for the Plainsmen. In total, our producer just told us 21 students working here and 21 people here tonight. That's big time.
That is big time.
Yeah. It's a direct snap to Jamarcus Smith, seeing him take his first snap as a quarterback there. Hugging the sidelines and getting enough for the first down.
Well, Mr. Ward, you just noted a few moments ago that this year's about opportunity, right?
Yeah.
Well, Monterey lost a few big-name guys last year, among them T.K. Young, Brandon Infante, Huber Hunter, and transfer Jaden Hibbler, just to name a few.
I'm going to add one to you as you continue this. Justin Perez. The dude was elite in the secondary for him, moved to linebacker. Continue on with your thought, though, Carson.
He was, but these guys played big roles last year and were a vital factor to the scrap that this team had. Now the question is, who's going to step up this year? Who's going to be the leader when the team needs them most? Or is it going to be a team affair? Some of the best teams that I've seen have developed just because of the sole fact that multiple men put the team on their back. Who's to say Monterey can't?
Oh, man. Jamarcus Smith just got lit up like a Christmas tree right there. His helmet is on the 32-yard line, or the 33. He got rocked after throwing that pass. It was his second snap playing some quarterback out there. I like what you do there, Carson. You're pushing a question, and I think that's going to be – oh, we're going to hear from our officiating crew real quick. I think that's a question that will be answered, Carson, over the course of a season, right?
Of course.
You're going to have your ebbs and flows of a season. All right, let's take a look here at our instant replay. It is, yeah, he got hit pretty hard right there, right to the chin strap of Smith. And, of course, in today's football, that's 15 yards. You can't do that. And so that's going to push the Plainsmen into the territory of the Broncos, setting them up for prime field position here as Luke Arrington comes back at quarterback. I kind of like that little 1-2 punch. A couple plays, put Jamarcus Smith out there and let him throw it.
Of course. Because when you think of them putting in another quarterback, if you're the defense, you're like, oh, this could be some sort of design quarterback run. We see it all the time in college. We see it a lot in high school. But
if he could throw it.
If you could throw it, that's the hidden gem in anything. Throw it, make them miscalculate what they think you're doing.
And I want to tip my cap to Jamarcus Smith. We watched him play baseball last year, and he is an outstanding pitcher. And you can see him throw the football there too. He has a little zip to it. He was a little off right there as he was getting hit, but he can throw it. Here's Arrington looking across the middle. I think he was trying to hit his receiver between the safeties.
Ooh.
Instead, he throws it behind his receiver, his running back, Christian Williams. Falls incomplete. You saw that play right there. He was looking in between the safeties, Carson, but the safeties for Odessa High played some great defense and made him go to his second option there.
They did, and I think that pass could have been completed if he wasn't running in the opposite direction that he was throwing.
Yeah.
And I think with him throwing away from the direction of his body, that really kind of altered the pass a little bit. As we saw, it went to the receiver's left side, not the right, but that receiver was open, and it could have been an easy 6 points.
Yeah, but it's extremely hard to throw on the run like that.
It
right?
is.
And as you said, he threw across his body. He had to adjust himself like that. And so I guarantee you if I was out there running and throwing like that, it's incomplete every time. At least with Arrington out there, they had a great shot with it. That's for sure.
For sure. Quarterbacks make things look easy when in reality they're definitely not.
Yeah, they're definitely not. First down here, or that's not first because the board says 1st and 10, but here's Arrington looking to his right, trying to go over the top to his receiver, and that'll fall incomplete. He was trying to hit Bryce Alexander over there, and it drops.
Well, and I think he really let go of that ball before he wanted to because he was getting hurried. And as he was throwing the ball, I don't know if you saw, but he kind of spun because he was hit. He's trying not to take a big hit like I just went blank on his name now.
Sorry, I'm looking at, they're working on Jamarcus Smith now,
Jamarcus
Carson.
Smith, yeah.
They're working on Jamarcus Smith on the table now. They're looking at his knee, and that is quite concerning after he got hit there on that last play.
It is, but like y'all was saying, Luke Arrington just spun out of that hit because not wanting to take a big hit.
Oh, great play fake, too. Just a little overthrown to Cash Lewis. That's something you see Aaron Rodgers do, right? A lot of the fake to the running back to make the defense bite on it to hit the receiver over the top. You see Jamarcus Smith trying to walk down there. He is a great option on the offense, and you don't want to see number 17 hobbling at all. We wish him all the best there. Promising sign that he's up and walking, though, after them checking out his knee.
That is, and it could be very minor, it could be not, but we all know that every single one of these players, if they get hurt, they want to go back in the game. That's just athletes' nature. And
you can't take me out of the game. That's what it is, right?
Yeah, you can't take me out of the game. I'm definitely not going to decide to take myself out of the game.
Hurrying up to the line and handing it off to Williams. Williams will make it back to the original line of scrimmage. It's going to be about 4th down and 10. And we hear some whistling down there on the field. And it's going to be a timeout by Odessa High. Of course, every timeout tonight is a UMC Children's Hospital timeout. And I believe that is, if not, it might be their last, or they might have one more. I know Monterey is out of timeouts.
Yeah, and I think in the first quarter, with Monterey using 2 of their timeouts, that's 2 more than they wanted to use. You know? I think if you're any football team, you really want to use your timeouts in the later moments of the second quarter. That way you have your extra time to stop the clock, make adjustments, do whatever you need to. So maybe you can get a late half score, but...
Yeah, especially after them running the ball. The clock would have been running.
Yeah.
Right? So that's a great timeout by Coach Ortiz to limit the amount of time that is off the clock. So that they might have a chance to go over the top to carry on again, right? Great timeout there Of course, that is a UMC Children's Hospital timeout. This is also an opportunity for us to talk about some sponsorship opportunities. We want to promote us a little bit. You'll see some ads running during our commercial breaks tonight about sponsoring our broadcast. We'd love to talk to anybody about sponsoring our broadcast, because if you sponsor our broadcast, you're giving back to the students of Lubbock ISD TV, right? It goes to equipment. It goes to traveling opportunities for them to compete in contests. And so when you see that QR code, really think about scanning it, and because what you do and what you give back to us will go straight to our students. That was a punt there by quarterback Luke Arrington, and it will go to the 12-yard line. I like that. You see that sometimes with offenses where the quarterback does that. And I like that because it keeps the defense on its toes. And also, most of the time, the quarterback can't punt it 50 yards, and so they're going to keep it inside doesn't go in the red zone or the end zone. And so, yeah, you want it in the red zone. You don't want it in the end zone.
Yeah, it's just a safer play.
Yeah.
When you have your punter.
And also gives you an option to throw the ball as well.
Oh, yeah, for sure. If you see something that you like, but obviously the first play in that situation is just to punt the ball, but you don't want your all-star punter who's just nailing 40, 50-yard punts to pin the ball in the end zone, because then they get better field position than they obviously could have.
Right, they're starting at the 12 instead of the 25. Going to the air here, trying to hit his sophomore receiver, and does. What a ball! Andrew Rodriguez hauling that one in from Mikey Cota. And with 39 seconds left, they just knocked off a major chunk of yardage. They are in Plainsmen territory.
And that was pinpoint accuracy.
Yeah, no, there is nothing better than that pass right there. It hit him right over the shoulder, they would say, into his breadbasket.
Yep.
And what a dart by the quarterback getting his first start tonight.
And that was beautiful coverage by Monterey, too. That was just a perfectly placed ball. I can't say it enough.
Yeah, and they're going back to the air and in and out of the hands of Rodriguez. I think they're going to be targeting him a lot tonight. Here's the instant replay of that beautiful pass from Cota to Rodriguez. Great camera stuff, too, by our students here. Of course, this is our second broadcast that we're doing this season. A lot of these students this is their first time on these cameras. And so that's some impressive work right there. Oh, that was Nevaeh Cairns. Great job, Nevaeh. Yeah, she's over here flexing on the camera now. That's big-time stuff right there.
It's big time.
Big time. 2nd and 10 now. Little 3-step drop for Cota, feeling some pressure and having to dump it to his running back, and it will be a little short. It's going to be 3rd and 10 with about 30 seconds to go.
I don't think that's the worst thing in the world, though, because if you make that connection, you're going to get tackled in the open field. Then the clock's going to be running. You might be forced to burn a timeout.
Yeah, and they have one left. And so,
yeah, you only have one left. You're still at midfield. You want to be able to make a big play if at all possible, and then use your timeout. That way you can think about something and maybe try to out-strategize Monterey.
I guarantee you they go to the top here, number 1 versus number 2.
I do see that free safety drift into maybe
across
help
the
catch
middle
Lewis.
And caught at the 30-yard line, continuing on his feet and jumping over a Plainsman, trying to get out of bounds. Does he? Great job by the Plainsman defense to keep Ivan Caron in bounds. They're going to have to burn a timeout here, Carson.
Yeah, and it looks like Ivan lost the ball right there, but I can't quite tell what the referee is signaling.
Coach is going to call a timeout, and he does right there. It's going to burn a second off the clock or 2. The Plainsman coaches on the sideline were saying, hurry up, get the clock going, get the clock going. And after 2 seconds, Coach Ortiz burns it. But great pass over the middle to Caron, and the leap over the defender. That's some elite level stuff. Had to get out of bounds, didn't though, and that's great defense by Monterey. That's one of those moments where these guys know what to do in football. They know the game, and they executed it right there.
Well, it's like you said, just textbook, right? They knew that they had one timeout left. They didn't want them to use it. They didn't want them to get out of bounds, have possibly another timeout if you want to consider it that. But that, like you just said, that's just perfect. Just textbook defense right there.
Speaking of timeouts, this timeout is presented by UMC Children's Hospital. Thank you again to them for sponsoring us and giving to our program and allowing our students to be able to go off and do some things this year. Thank you to UMC as well as Chick-fil-A. So it's going to be 1st and 10 at the 27-yard line, 17 seconds to go. This is when coaches, Carson, start getting into their bag of really good plays, right? This is where we should see what's the best thing you got in your playbook here.
Well, and you know every single coach has at least 2 or 3 plays ready when they need them.
It's the wheel route to the running back. I like that play call there, but the way the Monterey defense was playing that, if he would have caught that, he would have been tackled in bounds, and that clock would have gotten close to burning out before they spiked it.
That is true, and I think, yeah, you're a little frustrated that didn't go your way, that you didn't catch it, but it's not the worst thing.
It's a double-edged sword, right? You gotta, there's a positive to the incompletion, and that's because that would have burned a lot of time off the clock.
And it's hard to find the positives in the negatives, you know, like inside the negatives. But there's a lot of positives that
Stepping
can be
up
found.
in the pocket and throwing it out of bounds. Again, smart play there by the junior quarterback, Mikey Cota.
But now they only have 8 seconds. Like we said, both teams out of timeout, so now you have to dial up your best play. What's your best play to get into the end zone?
Yeah, I'm thinking you have 1 or 2 plays left in this half. And that second play is because you threw a screen pass or, you know, something, and they got down or out of bounds immediately. Or this is a 1 play, you're going for the end zone.
I think it's a 1 play, you're going for the end zone. You know, I think
they're going for carry on up top, right?
Yep. Oh,
they
yeah, for sure. But I think I see a free safety that's going to be drifting there. I think it's going to be a crossing route.
Yep. Oh, you called it. And a tackle over the middle with 2 seconds left. This will be the last play of the first half. Carson, in a minute, I'm going to be asking you for your thoughts on the first half. So start prepping.
All right.
Start prepping, okay? Because this has been a big first half for both teams, right? A lot of positives on both ends, right? The Broncos have been making some stops on the defensive end. That's something they wanted to focus on this season. And Monterey's been able to run the football really well and making stops themselves against a really great running and passing attack.
I just love the way that both defenses have played this game.
We've seen a lot of physicality.
It's been physical. It's been fun to watch. A lot of people want to see a lot of offense. I'm one of those guys. I want to see a lot of defense.
It's part of the game, and it's beautiful. Going to the air, scrambling. He's going to have to throw it. To the end zone he goes. He's got a receiver.
Oh!
Bobbling in and out of his hands. He gathers it in, but is he doing
Touchdown!
He does. He got his foot in bounds, according to the official there on that far side, and give him 6 as we head to halftime break. They got a chance to tie this thing up.
Wow. That's all I can say is wow.
Man, if that camera on that far side got that, I would love to see it. But he was able to gather it in, and he was able to bring it in. Let's go with X here on the instant replay.
I saw the bobble. It was just hard to tell if he got control of it with that 1 foot in.
Right, yeah, he was bobbling it when he had it up in the air, and he had it when he landed on the ground. This is the look that we have for it. I don't know. It looked like he was still bobbling it as he went down. But in Texas high school football, there's no instant replay, and what the official says it goes. And so here we go. The 2-point conversion hitting the running back in the flats, and we're tied. 14-all as we head into the halftime break. That's a pretty big swing of momentum and emotions for Odessa High, and what a fun way to go into halftime break. Carson, we're knotted up at 14. As you see here on the instant replay, they hit the H-back in the flats right there, and he was wide open for the 2-point conversion.
Well, and I think it's just because on any goal line opportunity, you expect a run of some sort. You just do. It's just nature. But great play action, great fake right there by the quarterback. I love seeing it.
So it's 14-all. Here's our game plan for our halftime. It is a 20-plus minute halftime show. During this halftime, you're going to get to see some awesome commercials that Carson's a part of. Hopefully you look into it for sponsorship opportunities, and as well as the volleyball report, the very first one that we'll have this football season. But 14-all as we head into halftime break. Carson, final thoughts from the first half. Go.
Well, I've already told you one of them. I loved how the defenses have played. I really do. But I think on the flip side, it's been really fun to see how the offenses have been able to counter the defenses. And
Absolutely.
I think that's what's made this game so interesting, you know?
All right, so during this halftime break, too, our sideline reporter is going to get Coach Judd Thrash. We might hear from him during halftime or even in the third quarter. I'm anxious to hear what his thoughts are in the first half. But we'll be back with that and more from Lowry Field. It's 14-all as we kick off the high school football season.
Hey
everyone, I hope you're enjoying the game. As the Odessa High Bronchos visit the Monterey Plainsmen to kick off this season and the Lubbock ISD TV coverage for the 2023 football season. Today we debut a new segment that will run during the halftime of our games called the Volleyball Report. And with that, let's get into it. The Estacado Lady Matadors and the first-year head coach Gloria Maestis look to continue to build off last year's success, where the Lady Matadors made the playoffs for the first time since 1997. Currently, they're going through the gauntlet of tournament play, and so their record doesn't indicate the talent that this team has, because they have a strong core group of players like setter Ukiah Upshaw, middle blocker Savea Johnson, and outside hitter Tashawn Spence. We are excited to see how they continue to progress through the season. And over at Talkington, the Lady Warriors are off to a great start this season, behind two seniors, Brooklyn Williams and Christiana McCourt. They have been playing since middle school and have picked up some big wins. Homecoming for the Lady Warriors is still undetermined, but the team is really cool to watch. And that's because they have players playing from every classification, freshmen all the way to seniors, on the roster. And over to Lubbock High, longtime Lubbock High coach Matthew Leesman has a 14-player roster that features 9 seniors that have endured a lot and have stuck together through it all. But the glue to this team could be the talented juniors that they have. Could this be the year that the Lady Westerners take a big step to the program and make the postseason? There's a buzz around the program and we can't wait to see. District 4-5A play will get underway on September 12th for Lubbock High. And who will they play on the 12th? Well, none other than the Coronado Lady Mustangs, where they're motivated to serve up an ace after missing out on the last postseason. Head coach Candy Stevens is now in her 3rd year leading the Lady Mustangs. She says her team's chemistry is at an all-time high, with a core group of players that aren't interested in repeating the history of last season. The 2023 Coronado volleyball roster has 4 seniors, 6 juniors, and 2 sophomores, and the big thing that Coach Stevens wants to see from her team is consistency on the offensive end. Finally, we head on over to Monterey. The Plainsmen are coming off a season where they had big success, and where there were moments that they wish they could have had back. Longtime Lady Plainsman coach Kelly Lozada is back for another season and says this year's team has an impact player in every position. Of course, they have a strong core group of 3 seniors to lean on: Bella Champion, Lainey Bradley, and Madeline Campos, bolstered by the talented sophomore trio of Madison Dubry, Ari Johnson, and Emerson Satterfield. And that's the volleyball report for this week. I hope you enjoyed the second half of the game, and if you want to continue to watch us, follow us on all of our social medias. Hello, my name is Emma. My name is Lily.
My name is Henry.
And I'm one of the many Lubbock ISD TV students
learning professional broadcast skills right now.
But we also do a lot more.
We have many student-produced shows
that allow us to grow our video storytelling,
producing, and hosting skills.
You can check out our work at any time at LubbockISDTV.com.
Or follow us on your favorite social media platform. We're on Facebook,
Twitter,
or X, or whatever they call it.
Whatever they call it nowadays.
Instagram,
and don't forget Threads.
And of course,
Lubbock ISD YouTube channel.
If you like our content, please show us
by hitting that thumbs up button.
Even better, share our stories so people can see the great things happening in Lubbock ISD. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for watching.
Now back to the game.
Welcome to our all-new season of highlights. I'm Erin Gregg, joined by our production team of Lubbock ISD TV students. And we are so excited for the start of this school year, especially with the opening of our new AgriSTEM complex. This facility, along with our unique partnership with Texas Tech University, gives us the opportunity to innovate agricultural education for all of our students. We spoke with our agricultural education coordinator about some of the great courses that are now available.
agricultural education in Lubbock ISD has been very traditional. We've had floral design with our plant science program of study, and then pretty much animal science, livestock production courses with our animal science program of study. And that's great. I mean, those are two great courses for students, but agriculture is multidimensional, and there's so much more out there. So we are really excited to bring the food science and technology program of study to the district. Our food science lab and meat lab is going to take a little bit longer to get finished. It'll open in October 23, but the career skills that students are going to gain from there, we know that HEB, United, Leprino, they need skilled workers. And so we are real proud that we're going to be able to turn those out. It's just a great day for the students of Lubbock ISD.
I'm really excited this year. I'll be taking the livestock production class, and I couldn't even begin to tell you how many classes and beautiful opportunities there are here just because we're overflowing at this point.
There's also animal sciences where we learn about digestive systems, animal health and safety and everything, and there's even vet science where we learn about administering medicines and everything to our animals.
We've hired staff that come from Texas Tech with the meat science program, and they're going to be instrumental in that role of creating that program. And so we're real excited about that. Of course, Texas Tech is a phenomenal university, and we couldn't have found a better partner. And so we're real excited what that's going to look like in the future as well.
It's just amazing, and I've been waiting for this for a really long time, and I hope that the generations that are coming after me will be able to enjoy it as much as I do.
It's a blessing to have these chances that you get here at the AgriStem complex. And I'll quote Cody Johnson, and I'll say, if you have a chance, take it while you have a chance. And so I believe everyone should give their chance a chance.
Agriculture has changed. A lot of people think agriculture is a farmer driving a tractor in a field, and there's lots of that, but that's only 2% of our population. There's a lot of people in business offices all across the nation who are commodity brokers, who are agricultural lawyers, who get out and market agricultural products. And so sometimes we have a smaller vision, so it's important that we really show the scope. When you look at drones, I know Lubbock ISD has a drone program, but agriculture has a huge usage of drones in agriculture. And so I just think it's important that we keep up with the technology. Yes, it's important that we remember our past and our traditions, but we also need to be open to new ideas, new technology, and new innovations to prepare our students for jobs that aren't even created yet.
What a fantastic opportunity. And for our students, if you're interested in any of our ag courses, just visit with your counselor about how to sign up. Dr. Kathy Rollo is joining us in studio today. As you know, Dr. Rollo is our superintendent, and we are excited to continue our tradition of having you as our first guest on our new season of highlights.
Thank you for having me on this beginning of a great school year.
It is always a pleasure, and we love having you here because we like to get just your feelings about starting a brand new school year in Lubbock ISD. So what do you think so far?
We've been in school for a little over a week now, and we've had a great start. I think one of the highlights of the beginning of the year has been the opening of our new AgriStem Center.
The AgriStem complex was certainly something we'd been looking forward to for a while, and the great thing is, now there's actually a building and there's actually students inside. So Dr. Rollo, tell us a little more about that AgriStem complex.
Well, this is something that was part of our 2018 bond, and this is really kind of the last culminating project. And it's something we've been planning for several years now. We're in the middle of West Texas and the food and fiber capital of the world, really. And we had not expanded what we offer as far as programming for our students in the agriculture career pathways. And so this gave us a great opportunity to develop a great vision of how we can expand not only the program offerings so that we're preparing students for real world jobs in the agriculture industry, but also a chance to expand access so that all 5 of our high schools have the ability to access the programming.
In an incredible partnership with Texas Tech.
Yes, and it is a great partnership with Texas Tech. One of many partnerships that we have, but this one is truly unique. There are great AgriStem complexes across the state, but none of them are in partnership with a Tier 1 university.
Well, we are certainly excited about that, but since you mentioned the 2018 bond, we have some other things that have been completed this summer, and so tell us a little bit more about the bond projects.
In fact, all of our bond projects are now completed, so very proud to announce that. So progress as promised in Lubbock ISD. All of our campuses now have a secure vestibule entrance. They have updated camera systems, fencing, lighting, updated communication ability within the building. And it just really is comforting and gives us peace of mind to know that we have done everything in our district possible to keep our students and staff safe.
Absolutely. Well, as you look forward to not just the fall semester, but really, we do this again in May. We'll give you a reflection at the end of the year, but what are some things you're really looking forward to as we move into the rest of the school year?
Well, football starts this week
It does.
or next week, so we're excited about that, and we have a brand new turf, so we're excited to play our first football game on the new turf at Lowry Field at Plains Capital Park.
Well, we're so fortunate to have those beautiful facilities, and of course, Plains Capital Park is an example of another great partnership that we have.
Yes.
As far as just the chance to, in the past week or so, we've been out visiting campuses, and what does it feel like to just be back in our buildings with the kids and the staff?
Oh, it's wonderful. It's so wonderful to see their faces. Our kids are our why. They're why we do what we do every day. And so seeing them in the buildings, excited about learning and excited about a new school year just makes us all so excited.
Well, Dr. Earl, always a pleasure having you here. We'll look forward to having you back later in the year to reflect on the 2023-2024 school year.
Thank you, Erin.
Thank you. Now let's go on location to the Louise Hopkins Underwood Center for the Arts. That's where one of our Roberts Elementary students received special recognition for her artwork.
Good to see you guys. Come over and tell me about what you got over here.
Exciting, because I never had my art put at the Capitol before, only in the art gallery.
It's a great opportunity for our representatives to support our young artists through LISD, and they get the opportunity to hang their artwork for 2 years. They get to tell stories about back home, and I think it makes an impact on the students' lives and the senators and representatives' lives too.
Tissue, that's pretty cool.
I really think it means a lot to the students. Carson was so sweet. She was a little nervous, of course, but I think that Senator Perry really made her feel special and really wanted to get to know her and be able to tell her story when he takes her artwork to Austin.
I'm very thankful that one of our students was selected. It's always important to support the children and their creativity.
My favorite part was that only the painting and putting the tissues on.
Being a teacher is selfless. You're able to serve the community wholeheartedly, and just to be able to do that for a living is a blessing.
For 5 years, I was an LISD art teacher, and I just think it's incredibly important that we keep the fine arts in schools, because not every kid's going to excel at everything like math or reading, but they can excel at art, and it's a way for them to express themselves. And so I just think the more that we're able to fund public education and art and the arts in general is going to benefit everyone in the world.
Congratulations, Carson. She's one of many Lubbock ISD fine arts students whose work has been recognized by our local legislators. Now let's check in with Phyllis Underwood. She shares our partner education stories. And Phyllis, we have a great one this week, right?
We sure do, Erin. Ramirez Elementary announced their new community garden over our summer break, thanks to a generous donation from the Bear Foundation. Let's watch.
Today is a big milestone. We started this conversation back in September, and today we get to be out here to see this milestone come to fruition right here where the garden's going to be.
To just be able to actually been awarded this grant, very, very excited and thankful. As we were working through the grant, that was one of the things that we really had to lay out a good timeline. And I reached out to our master gardener, Paula January.
Having been with LISD for many years and served as an administrator with a school community garden, I recognize the value in this learning opportunity for the children in our community and the overall community members. We have a Lubbock Master Gardener that oversees the Roscoe Wilson Garden. We have one of our Lubbock Master Gardeners and Texas AgriLife Extension agent that oversees the Smith Garden. And these have been extremely successful opportunities for our children and communities.
Hands-on, truly engaged learning in the process. And so I can't wait for it to go up so that they are able to just be able to get into that dirt and get dirty and learn from the process of growing. And what he said earlier, we really do know hunger. And so just how can we use some of these fruits and vegetables that we're going to grow? That's one of the big pieces in the world of IB, is what's the action that is tied to the learning. And maybe one of our action will be able to support some of the hunger that happens here in Lubbock.
It's a great partnership, and the staff, the students, the curriculum is just amazing. It was a great fit with Bayer, whose mission is Health for All, Hunger for None, and the Bayer Fund. is focused on food and nutrition and STEM education. So it's an amazing partnership, we knew right away.
Thank you again to Bear Foundation for their generous support for Lubbock ISD and Ramirez Elementary. If you would like to become one of our partners, you can contact me with the information there on your screen. And you can check out our past partner stories online at LubbockISDTV.com.
Phyllis, thank you so much for being with us today, and we look forward to hearing many more partner stories as we go through the semester.
It's a pleasure.
We have a few new campus leaders starting this school year, and today we'll get to know one of them. Let's head over to Machen Elementary to meet Principal Crystal Alvarado.
I am Crystal Alvarado, principal at Machen Elementary. So I really started my journey out at Brown Elementary. I taught third grade self-contained for a year and then moved to third grade math for 2 years. I was then moved to Alderson Elementary as an instructional coach for math, where I served there for 2 years before getting my assistant principal job at Stewart, and recently served there for 4 years. As an instructional coach, I had the opportunity of working with a lot of adults. Problem solving is one of the biggest things that teachers are hit with every single day, and critical thinking. And just being able to work with them and talk through those situations and really just being there for them. We're just kind of looking at building those gaps that we see in between students and just giving them the confidence to make sure that they understand what's going on with their kids and making sure that we're bridging those gaps and ultimately, making those students successful. This is my opportunity just to build a relationship with all of the teachers and all of the parents, and then just all of our community partners that Machen has to offer. We've had several community partners reach out. We have a local church that's right near us, and just helping us make sure that these students just continue to grow. We have such a great feeder pattern in the Lubbock High feeder pattern in Western, and so these kids we're preparing them for Hutch Middle School, and then ultimately, just going up to Lubbock High. One thing I love about Lubbock ISD in general is that each feeder pattern has their own brand. Lubbock High, I've never worked with that feeder pattern. It's like the last feeder pattern that I've been involved in. But Coach Rod has already reached out to me, and we've, put some things into place for that. Just having those students from high school and Hutch come down and be readers on our campus to some of our littles, I think is going to be the greatest thing. Just promoting high school and those academics for Lubbock High. I love the first day of school because I love to see all the kids. They're super excited to come back to school. They're really excited to meet their teachers. I think you see the most smiles on the first day of school, especially with staff. Their smiles, they're opening, their doors back to their students, and then those kids are really excited to see their teachers and just see their friends again that they haven't got to see over the summer. And so I'm really looking forward to all of the smiles. I love the smiles on the first day of school.
We wish Ms. Alvarado a great year, and we'll introduce you to more of our new campus leaders in the coming weeks. Taking a look at our calendar, we want to remind families that we will not have school on Monday, September 4th in recognition of Labor Day. And we'll send home our first progress reports for the year on Thursday, September 7th. Lubbock ISD has a brand new app. It has a lot of updated features to help keep you connected with the district and your students' campus. Our new app is free and easy to download. Just search for Lubbock ISD in the App Store or Google Play. Thank you for joining us today. We'll be back next week to highlight more great opportunities only in Lubbock ISD.
This has been a production of the students and staff at Lubbock ISD TV.
Welcome back to Lowry Field at Plains Capital Park. Halftime is almost over. We got about 2 minutes, 27 seconds left. It is all knotted up at 14 because Odessa High responded with the last second, scoring that touchdown. Let's get into some of the highlights from the first half as we're all knotted up at 14. This is the first score of the game, and it's Christian Williams. After a 14-play drive, he punched it in there. That gave Monterey the 7-0 lead. This is their second score of the game. Of course, that was another effective drive. I want to say it was like 5 plays, 40-something yards on that drive as he punched that one in. Oh, no, he punches it here as he runs off behind the left tackle. Of course, Monterey's offensive line, all seniors and all guys that have played a lot of football over their playing career. Odessa High, though, they had themselves a pretty solid first half as well as Mickey Cota passes it to Ivan Gary on there. That was a complete touchdown pass, a 48-yard dart to the 4-star receiver that's committed to the University of Oklahoma. He also completed a big pass here to get them close into range, right? That was that beautiful over-the-shoulder pass that got the ball moving that led to this final touchdown that you will see here. It was 4th down and 10, and feeling some pressure, he has to roll out, and he chunks it to a receiver. It was a one-on-one battle, and falling back and catching it. The referee really didn't have a good look at it, but it was a touchdown. He gathered it in as he was falling on his back, and we're knotted up at 14. There's Luke Arrington there. Carson, of course, he's a junior or senior now. I want to say you're a junior, but you're a senior now at Coronado. I want to say I'm proud of you, man. You've been killing it up here tonight. And also, I want to say I'm proud of all of our students out there. They're out here working our cameras and bringing us all this action here at Lowry Field at Plains Capital Park. Let's get into some of the stats here from the first half. Rushing attempts in big-time favor of Monterey. It is 26-9 compared to Odessa High. But here is our stats, our team stats. Look at the difference here in passing yards and rushing yards. Monterey leading it 125-31, but the passing yards has been the big separation here in the first half. 179-6, Carson. I know that's something that Monterey is going to want to change.
It probably is, but at the same time, if they continue to have drives like their very first drive, I don't think they're going to want to shy away from the rushing attack. The rushing attack has been lethal all game.
Talking about things that I think that they want to change, let's hear from Coach Thrash. What does he want to change from the first half? Our Dominic Martinez caught up with him as he headed into the locker room.
Thanks, Mr. Ward. Coach, you guys ended up tying the game in the second quarter right there. How is the team, and how are you feeling about that?
I feel good about it. You know, that call right there was very questionable. You know, it was out of the end zone, but it's unfortunate that it was out of the end zone. But, you know, we can only do so much as coaches and players. But, you know, very proud of the way our guys are fighting, and we just got to continue. You know, we always have that here at home for whatever reason, but we're going to keep battling. We're going to keep doing our thing. We're going to keep fighting. I'm proud of our guys, proud of our coaches, and we're going to keep doing it. So we're going to regroup at halftime and see what we can do.
That's it for the coach. Sending it back to Mr. Ward.
Wow, Dom, thank you for that great interview with Coach. You know what? I would call that a raw reaction, right? Right after that play happened, Carson, was when the halftime buzzer went off. And so what he said right there was his real emotions of what he was feeling in that moment. Great interview by Dom. I'm going to make sure I shake his hand and tell him that. That's because that's what a sideline reporter does, is get raw emotions like that.
That is true. And, I mean, Coach Thrash just not afraid to share his opinion, you know?
No, it's you know, and it was a tough look. The official was in kind of a weird spot. And
it's just
and
hard
he was
to tell.
bobbling it as it came out of bounds. But you know what? I said it during halftime. These officials are out here doing their best.
Yeah, that's
right.
true.
This is not their full-time job. They don't study this for a living. They come out here and they give their time so that these athletes can come out here and shine. And the official saw what he saw, and we're rolling with it. It is what it is.
Yeah, and for all we know, it could have been the right call. But
right. It could have been the right call.
I mean,
absolutely.
And that's just what people don't. I mean, it's what a lot of people don't understand. It's so hard being a referee in any sport, and it's just so hard to realize that.
Wow, and the Plainsmen, the special teams, continuing to be special tonight, stopping them there at about the 4-yard line.
Need I remind you, they had a block PAT earlier. They're coming up big right now.
Absolutely. A great way to start the second half for Monterey, and it's going to pin them deep. Odessa High is going to get this drive started at the 3-yard line. Of course, again, you're watching this game on YouTube, on Lubbock ISD's YouTube channel. Make sure you like, subscribe. I see 11 people have liked our stream tonight, and we thank you for that. Subscribe and share with your friends. Let everybody know in Odessa that we're broadcasting this game on YouTube. If you're a Monterey fan, let all your family and friends know that we're broadcasting this game. We're so grateful to be able to do this and provide this for all of our amazing fans. So starting in the end zone, and it's going to be a free play for Odessa High, going to carry on, and he caught it. Stepping away from the defender, and he has some breakaway speed.
Grass in front of him.
45-30. He's going to score. Give him 6 on the first play out of the halftime break. It was a free play that turned into a score.
And from the 3-yard line, too. That's a 97-yard pass completion right there.
Yeah. The Monterey coaches are pointing to the sideline, saying that there's a player down over here.
And there is.
We're going to hear from our official right here. Yep, that is a 97-yard touchdown pass to the Oklahoma commit, Ivan Carrion. And just like that, you blink, Odessa High's on top.
Yep, just like you said, if you blink, you'll miss it. I think that is one of the quickest drives you can have. One play, 97 yards on a free play in 20 seconds, up and down the field. And now they have their first lead of the ball game.
That is the stat of the night right here. Quickly in the halftime break right after. That is the definition of a one-play strike, right? You would see that a lot with Texas Tech when Mahomes was the quarterback there, right? And when you see these kind of plays, it kind of tells you what kind of offense you have, right? You have the home run threat as they draw them off sides. And from the back of the end zone, he throws it to Carrion. He breaks one tackle here, and he's off to the races.
Well, and it just makes you think and wonder and almost infer what the Odessa coaching staff was telling their players during halftime. Because normally in most circumstances, if you're inside the 5-yard line, your own 5-yard line, you're running the ball. You're trying to get that initial first down. That way you have some breathing room to pass. That way if you get sacked, it's not that big of a deal. But that just tells you, it just kind of gives you an idea of what they were telling their players. Hey, let's go out in the third quarter and let's prove something to them.
Yeah.
Let's prove that we can hang with them, because a lot of people are going to think that last touchdown in the second quarter was a fluke. Well, we're here to prove that it's not.
I love so sometimes Carson goes on these long monologues here, and that was gold, my man.
Thank you.
That's some good stuff right there.
Mama Ward instilled that in me. Shout out, Mom.
Yeah, and we know she's watching too.
Yep,
we know she's watching. So tonight, of course, I'm looking at our live stream. Got 165 people tuning in right now, and we're grateful for each and every one of them. We do have a player down on the field for Monterey, as it looks like they're bringing out the cart here, Carson. And so with that, we're going to take a little TV pause, and we'll come back with more, and hopefully we'll have an update for our player when we come back right after this. It's 20-14. When we come back, it's the extra point for Odessa High. We'll be back with more right after this.
If you appreciate our coverage, we hope you'll consider one of our sponsorship opportunities.
Your support gives us the opportunity to travel to state and national competitions,
where we represent our entire district in audio and video production contests.
Last season, our students received multiple awards in Skills USA and the Student Television Network.
If you'd like to support us, contact Kenneth Dixon with the information on your screen.
And thank you for watching.
Not only on offense, but defense as well. That's a young man that you do not want to see down. The extra point, though, for Odessa is up and good. It's now 21-14. Broncos on top of Monterey. Here's Cash Lewis again, and he is hobbling around. We hope number 2 is okay. Of course, Monterey and all of Lubbock ISD has amazing athletic training teams that take care of each of these student athletes, that make sure that they're going to be okay. They'll tape them up. They're going to heal them back to 100%, or if not 100%, close to 100%, because it's kind of hard to be 100% during football season, right?
That is true.
And so we do want to tip our cap to the athletic training staffs from Monterey and all of our Lubbock ISD teams. We're so grateful for each and every one of them. So here comes the kickoff return team from Monterey. Special teams has been a strong point for the Plainsmen tonight, and after that one play, touchdown, 97-yard pass, you kind of want to see this part of the game step up again for you.
You really do. Like you said, they've already made 2 very, very big plays. Now you wonder, can a third happen?
Could it? See them having to adjust a little bit. Maybe Cash Lewis is back on the kickoff return team as Q Boyd comes in right there. He is a sophomore. I'm not 100% sure if Cash Lewis is on the kickoff team, but their coaches were sending somebody out back deep real quick. And that's fair caught. And so the Plainsmen will start their drive at about the 19-yard line. And who made that fair catch? Jamarcus Smith. Glad to see him back in the game. Of course, he got rocked in that second quarter when he was at quarterback, and where his helmet went flying back like 7-8 yards. And so happy to see 17 back out there.
Well, that just shows how tough these players are. They can face so much in a game, but they're not going to want to willingly come out. No matter if they have their arm cut off. But like
their arm cut off.
They're going to want to come back out. That's just athletes' nature. They want to come back out. They want to keep playing. That's just who we are as athletes.
So they're working on the back of Cash Lewis's leg over there, like in the calf region. So here we are, 1st and 10. Luke Arrington back in at quarterback. And there'll be a handoff and a stop behind the line of scrimmage, flying through Daniel Garcia. There was no time for that play to develop at all. Garcia broke through the line of scrimmage and stopped that play before it even had a chance.
Well, and if you're a defensive end, that is poetry in motion.
That is.
And that's exactly what your goal is every single run play. Obviously, more often than not, that doesn't happen, but when it does, get you feeling some type of way inside. You get another urge of confidence in your bloodstream.
Yeah. Oh yeah. When you see the big guys up front celebrating, yeah, absolutely. Let the big dogs eat. He just ate right there. It's now 2nd down and 13. Arrington going to hand the ball off again, this time to Jamarcus Smith. He hits the corner, stiff arms a guy, and falls forward to about the 27-yard line. Jamarcus Smith is not your normal quarterback that runs the ball every now and then, right? He's a guy that's not afraid to lower his shoulder at all. As you right now on your screen, you do see Cash Lewis. He is on the training table right now as they continue to work on him.
Well, but I just love the way that they've been using Jamarcus Smith today. It's been really fun to watch him. He's been in it special teams. He's been in it quarterback. He's been in it running back. Heck, he's probably been in a wide receiver without his nosing.
Right, yeah, there's Jamarcus Smith again. He's got a chance to go the distance. It ball's loose on the ground, though. Odessa stripped it, and they say they got it.
Wow.
The entire Odessa defense is pointing the other way, and they do have it. Smith had a chance to break it away, but the defender ripped it out of his arms, and they come up with it. Here's the instant replay, Carson.
Yep.
I like that little stutter step he did there. But coming in and swiping that ball out, is that number 6? It is for Odessa High. Javen Gonzalez, the one that forced that turnover. Turnovers are huge in the outcomes of games, and that could be a pivotal one, especially after how the Broncos were able to score on that last drive.
Well, and now, once again, they're in Monterey territory, so now you wonder, are they going to go back to the aggressive play style that they did when they were on the 3-yard line? It doesn't look so, but they have a big run here.
They do, and it's going to be enough for the 1st down. Moving around, Day Green. He's starting to build a good night for himself as he gets about 11 yards on that carry.
What'd you say, Day all day?
Day all day. That's the truth, man. In the first half, Green had 6 attempts for 19 yards. Add another 11 onto that, 7 attempts for 30 yards.
Another handoff.
Yeah, another handoff to Green, and he's going to get another 1st down and more into the red zone as he gets tackled down at about the 14-yard line. One play moved the chains. Odessa's driving here.
And you love seeing that. You love being able to comfortably pass, but also comfortably run. I think that's one of the most satisfying things in football is when you can comfortably run the ball and keep getting big yards in those runs. I consider 5 yards a big run. When it breaks for 10, 12, 15 yards, that's just beautiful to watch.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's the big guys up front forcing their will, right? They're not able to have these types of runs without the big guys up front moving the defensive line for Monterey. And again, they have tons of experience on that offensive line over there with Odessa High. We're seeing some of the things they can do with this offense. A pump fake, looking for his receiver, wide open. Touchdown, Broncos. It was a dart from Mikey Cota to Jalen Warren, and just all of a sudden, less than 3 minutes into the second half, we went from a tie ball game to the Broncos up by 2 possessions.
And you see the pump fake from the quarterback for Odessa right there. You almost wonder if that threw the cornerback off right there.
It would have thrown me off. That was a beautiful pump fake because it looked like he was throwing it. It was like a strong pump fake. It wasn't just a little wimpy one, you know?
Well, it's like you said earlier, he was looking like a shortstop.
A little bit. We might need to see if he was on the baseball roster, and if he's not, he needs to call coach. All right, here we have a sideline report. I think we're going to be talking some band.
Okay.
I love the band, don't you?
I do too.
Dom, take it away. Let's talk some band.
Mr. Ward, Mr. Gurley. So right now we're in the brand new season we're in the brand new football season. How are you in the band feeling right now?
We're excited to get going. Football season is the best time of year for us. We love marching band. We love being outside. It's been nice and toasty outside for us, so we've been working on our tan and getting sweat going, but it's been a great time. We have the greatest group of kids behind us here. You see them dancing around and playing. We really to this time of year.
All right, Mr. Gurley. So at the start of the school year, how is the band and you feeling about this brand new school year?
We're excited to see how the football team does. We're looking forward to a bounce-back season for them. We're looking forward to rooting them on. We've got a great marching production plan for this year called Hieroglyphics, and we're excited to roll that out, as the season goes on and look for a great competition season out of that.
All right, thank you, Mr. Gurley. Sending it back to you, Mr. Ward, in the stands.
All right, thanks so much, Dom. You know what? We do have band extravaganza this year, and I'm excited to see the show that he was just talking about right there. That sounded pretty cool. He said hieroglyphics. Is that what he said, Carson?
I think that's what I heard, but I'm no band kid, so I don't know what any of the...
I'm a band junkie, dude.
I know you are, so I'm going to ask you what that means.
I don't know. I'm anxious to see what it means. But marching band season is now become like an every year season. I know that it used to be like every other year, schools at specific levels for a 5A could go to state. But since COVID, I think it's every year they get to go to state. And so now they're going all in every year, and the shows are getting better. And I love watching halftime because nothing beats the drum line, nothing beats the bass of the brass and then all of that. I'm a fan.
Well, and I just love that Dom interviewed the band director because I think the band adds a different feeling into a football game. Obviously you have the game, but then you have the music playing in the background. You're hearing the talent, but you're not focusing on it because you're focusing on the game. It just adds a whole different level to the atmosphere of high school football games.
That goes incomplete there. Bryce Alexander was where the ball was being thrown to, but it looked like he was trying to block downfield as that ball goes incomplete. Yeah, I love the sousaphones.
Yeah.
Just there's something about the big instrument that just I'm like, that's awesome. I know I don't want to carry that because that's 40 pounds at least, but that's awesome.
Yeah, and those are hard to play too.
Yeah, and then the saxophone, right? As she's holding the saxophone right there. I always told my mom growing up that if I learned how to play the saxophone, I'd still be playing today.
Really?
I just think I love the sound of it. There's a handoff here on second down, gaining about 6 or 7 on the play. It's going to be third and manageable here for the Plainsmen.
Well, and Mr. Ward, I know on my behalf, I always wanted to play the guitar growing up.
Okay.
But then 5th grade hit, and my teacher tried teaching us all how to play recorder. So after that, I kind of just left instruments in the closet, so to speak.
Okay.
but I was always interested in like a guitar or even a drum, but drums are so hard to play.
Right. Trying to push forward, getting close to that line to gain. It's if they get it, it's going to be barely, and if they don't get it, it's going to be by an inch. And they're going to say move the chains. First down for the Plainsmen. Great run by Deuce Moore there. He had to be a little scrappy there. He had to fight for that, Carson, and he was able to get it.
Well, and I think every member on this Monterey team now knows, hey, Odessa's not playing around.
No.
You blinked, just like you said earlier, you blinked, and now you're down 2 possessions. So now, if you're Monterey, you got to be like, okay, what was working earlier in the game? What could work now? Let's just find what the defense is going to give us, and let's just take it. Let's take it and run with it, and we'll have slow, methodical drives.
No, I like what you said there. Take what the defense gives you. Don't try to go, you know, like a lot of times when teams get down, right, they want to try to get back into it immediately.
Yeah.
And, like, I like what you said there. Take what the defense gives you and go down there 4 or 5 yards at a time and build an effective drive, make the defense tired, and go score. Now, if you're Odessa High on the other side, though, you're trying to get another 3 and out and let your offense have the ball again, because what they're doing after halftime has been simply electric.
For sure. And I think that's just all due to the touchdown they scored right at the half.
Yep.
Like you said, built a ton of momentum going into the half. And now
a great run here, bouncing it to the outside to the 50. Now in Bronco territory at the 30. Will be pushed out of bounds at about the 24-yard line. Running into some staff members on the sideline. I hope they're okay. Des Williams there with a great run.
Just a burst of electric speed right there.
Oh, and hopping up immediately. Good. I'm glad to see the person that got run over there is up and on their feet. That could have been bad. Here's the instant replay of that great run by Williams. Running into, and the camera's broken too. I hope she's okay. It looked like that the kicking net went right into her head. Gosh, I hope she's okay. 1st and 10 now. It's going to be a handoff right up the middle. Powering through a couple tackles. And it'll be another first down for the Plainsmen. They're driving now. They're taking what the defense gives them as Des Williams moves the chains.
And now they're at the 12-yard line, knocking on the door.
Yeah, and it's going to be Williams again. Breaking out of one tackle, but swallowed up immediately. Great defense there. Seeing multiple white helmets flying to that football and not allowing him to go anywhere.
Well, and you kind of expect that at this time in the game because they just ran 3 consecutive run plays on you and got good yardage on it. But now you're like, okay, you're on the 12-yard line. You're going to run hurry up. You're going to try to find another hole inside that interior or even exterior offensive line, and they just swarmed it.
They did.
Odessa was ready for it.
That's that defensive line right there, the front 4 for Odessa. And it looks like they're going to bring some pressure here, as you can tell by their linebackers. It's going to be a handoff. Bouncing outside, Deuce Moore. Give him 6. Touchdown. Plainsmen. Deuce Moore carries it in from 12 yards out. And the momentum, the Plainsmen needed that right there.
They really did. They really did. And like I said earlier, whenever Odessa blitzed on a rundown, it can go one of 2 ways. Either you stuff it just like they did 2 plays ago, or you find a gap because your offensive line is so experienced they can create gaps in the middle of nowhere and give you a lane just to run through.
Here's the extra point opportunity for Gio Cardenas. Up and good. Mr. Automatic does it again. Now it's 28-21. Broncos on top of the Plainsmen. Monterey responded. And if you're a Plainsman fan, you're feeling a little better.
You are feeling a little better because you're also seeing your team play playing with a little more urgency.
All right, so we're going to take a little timeout right here, and when we come back, we'll have the kickoff. Stay with us. We'll be right back. This timeout is presented by UMC Children's Hospital.
My name is Henry.
And I'm one of the many Lubbock ISD TV students
Learning professional broadcast skills right now.
But we also do a lot more.
We have many student-produced shows
that allow us to grow our video storytelling,
producing, and hosting skills.
You can check out our work at any time at LubbockISDTV.com.
Or follow us on your favorite social media platform. We're on Facebook,
Twitter,
or X, or whatever they call it.
Whatever they call it nowadays.
Instagram,
and don't forget Threads.
And of course,
Lubbock ISD YouTube channel.
if you like our content, please show us.
By hitting that thumbs up button. Even better, share our stories so people can see the great things happening in Lubbock ISD.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching.
Now back to the game.
21 now. Carson, yesterday at the Estacado game, I've brought it up 4 different times. See Grayson Archer there, good kid. Estacado had an onside kick that changed the outcome of the game, I felt like. I felt like the momentum was 1,000% on Estacado's side after that. Could we see something here? No, the Plainsmen kick it deep. Special teams has been a factor, and I was thinking maybe, you know, Coach Judd Thrash might take advantage of how elite his special teams have been tonight.
Yeah, but I don't think you want to push it. I know you're probably going to counter me. I'm expecting it right now.
Yeah, I'm getting ready for it.
But I don't think you want to push it. I think your special teams is coming up with plays when they need to, right? You don't want to force them to have to make a play. They're just making plays on their own.
Right.
It's not scripted. We know football. It's never scripted.
No.
But
why do people say that it is?
I don't really know.
It's got to be impossible to script it.
I mean, unless, like penalties. I mean, penalties are like the easiest way to do it. But anyways, you got to think. It's so hard for special teams players to make plays. So whenever they do, they get that confidence boost. It's very hard, like I said. So how is he going to be able to tell them to make a play when they might not be able to? They might not be ready to.
It's got to be that moment where you catch Odessa off guard.
Exactly.
Right? It's got to be like that you see it like 1 or 2 times as you're doing the kickoffs and be like, hey, this person is dropping back before we even kick it. We got to go after that player.
Yeah.
And that's why the coaches get paid big bucks, because they watch for that kind of stuff. 2nd down and 4 now, though, here in the 3rd quarter. We're north of 200 people tuning in tonight. We're grateful for y'all, each and every one of y'all. Of course, this is our first broadcast for football on YouTube this season. Going to the air is Odessa High, just throwing it up, and will fall incomplete in the direction of no wide receivers. Must have been outside of the pocket, though, as there's no flag for intentional grounding, and there it is. We're going to hear from our head official here, Robert Cameron, for the first time in the 2nd half. All right, so it went from 2nd and 4 after that intentional grounding. Now it's going to be 3rd down and I think 19, because that is a 15-yard penalty. And just basically he didn't get out of the pocket and he threw it where no wide receiver was.
Well, and it's really hard because as a quarterback, if you don't see anything, you're just trying to make a play on your own.
Right.
And it's hard when you have 4 different guys coming at you from all different angles. You can't really retreat to the sidelines per se and get outside the tackle box. You just have to retreat backwards and hope that a receiver's in the area.
Here's Coda going to the air, trying to hit his receiver back corner, and it will fall incomplete. It's going to be 4th down. The punt team's going to come. You know, for the first time, though, tonight, and really all night, that's the first mistake that Mikey Coda had. And with this being his first start in his high school career on varsity, that is impressive.
Well, and I think you're going to take that. I mean,
yeah.
think is a little sarcastic, but you're going to take that. Mikey Coda has been playing phenomenally.
He's been playing really well, especially here in the 2nd half.
Oh my gosh, he's been lighting it up, and he's been very, very fun to watch.
The dual threat aspect of what he brings to his team, being able to run the ball, but then at the same time throwing it. So here's the punt team. Of course, the punter for Odessa High is 4-star recruit, wide receiver Ivan Carrion. And what we saw earlier today when the wind was to his back is that he can punt this thing.
Yes, he can.
Now with the wind to his face, what can he do? He had a decent snap, and it's blocked. Monterey got a hand on it.
And they got it.
And they're going to pick it up, and they have a chance.
They scored.
Touchdown, Monterey. The Plainsmen block it and take it to the end zone.
And what I tell you, it is so hard to get stops on special teams. That is the 3rd one this game, and it is all 3 of them have turned into points.
The special teams have shined, and they have brought them back into this game. It's an aspect of the game that is always overlooked, right? You think offense, defense, never special teams, but special teams plays change games, and we're almost tied up if Gio Cardenas can put this through.
And you just can't teach how to be a good special teams player.
Oh, you can teach effort, though, and that's what that is.
You can teach effort. You cannot teach heart. Heart comes from that player themselves. And tonight they have proven that they all have heart.
Monterey missing an offensive lineman out here for the extra point. Here's the extra point opportunity. About 15 seconds left on the play clock, so they got plenty of time to get this going. Cardenas' extra point up and good. Once down by 14, now knotted up at 28. The Plainsmen have turned the tides, and this is going to be fun. 5 minutes to go here in the third quarter, and the energy level is rising here on the opening night of football here for Monterey. Man, what a turnaround, right? It felt like coming out of halftime, 14 unanswered points, realistically 21 unanswered points because of that touchdown score.
Yeah.
Monterey needed to answer, and they have.
They have, and you really thought, based off of coming right out of halftime, not even 3 minutes into the third quarter, you really felt like Odessa was going to start pulling away and start trying to manage the clock, do everything right. But then next thing you know, you flip a script and you flip the page, bam, Monterey's back.
This is fun.
This is fun.
This is what all these teams do during the offseason, right? They work for these moments. And you're seeing these guys, right? When you go down by 14 points, right? You can hover down and kind of get freaked out a little bit, right? But Monterey took the punch on the chin, got down by 14, and responded back.
Yeah. And there's two different ways to respond to a deficit. Either you shrivel up in that little ball like you were just metaphorically speaking right there, or you can be like, okay, you know what? I'm going to prove what I can do.
Right, let's buckle this chin strap up a little bit more.
Let's go toe-to-toe in the boxing ring and just swing haymakers at each other. Let's do that.
For some reason, I love the boxing metaphors.
They're always a good one.
Yeah. And you can see the fans getting into it.
Oh, yeah. You can see the band, the first part of the band getting into it. It's great.
Yep. Well, and that's how Odessa was not 3 minutes ago, 4 minutes ago, right? Because it was 9:02 whenever we said that they were up by 2 touchdowns. And 4 minutes later, Coach Judd Thrash's team bounced back. There's some officials calling timeout, and it is a timeout by Monterey. Of course, every timeout is a UMC Children's Hospital timeout. And we kind of want to take a moment here to talk with Carson a little bit about UMC Hospital and what it means to him, because Carson's story is truly unbelievable, y'all. And I know he probably won't get into it much, but Carson, tell us a little bit about UMC Children's Hospital and what UMC means to you.
Well, to keep it brief, because I don't want to make it a sob story, but 2 years ago, roughly, I was diagnosed with brain cancer, and I've had 3 out of my 4 chemo treatments at UMC, and they are wonderful, wonderful people, and they genuinely made me feel at home even though I was going through such a hard time. And I just can't say thank you enough from the bottom of my heart that they're not just doing this to me, they're treating every single patient like this. And it genuinely means something to the kids. They might be 2 years old, but even though it might not mean something to them, it means something to the parents. And just the hospitality that they bring, it's so great.
Thank you, Carson.
You're welcome.
I want to say thank you to UMC as well for taking care of you, because Carson's the man, y'all. This young man right here has an extremely bright future doing this. Y'all don't even know. All right, on first down, though, for the Broncos, it's going to be another first down for him. A great pitch and catch there from Coda to what is normally their running back, Day Green there.
And just getting the ball in space to any of your playmakers, anything can happen. As you see right there, 13-yard gain. If they can keep doing that, it's like I just said, going toe-to-toe in the boxing ring. Let's see how many punches we can throw.
Dude, yeah, this is like one of those premier ones. You know, the ones you said earlier you don't want to pay for to watch it, but you would pay to watch this one.
I would.
Even though it's free on YouTube. Great run here on first down. Day Green getting across into Plainsmen territory. If he broke that tackle, all he would see was green until he hit the blue turf. Great run there by the running back.
Wow. Just wow. What a run.
Of course, we got a lot of big-name people here tonight. Did you know Pete Regis is here tonight?
I did. I heard that in the pregame.
Yes, he is a former athletic director of Lubbock ISD, and that's awesome to see. Of course, we have the Aquatic Center named after him and all the great things that he did. And, of course, Leah Chavez, the superstar from Monterey basketball, the #1 player in the country for the class of 2025. I heard that she won like first place in like a 3-point shootout. No surprise, because she's a lockdown shooter, and I'm excited to see her.
I am too. I can't wait for basketball season, but right now,
this is week 1 of football.
Hey, I'm excited for baseball season, but right now I'm going to live in football season. Football's my thing.
Wait, you just said baseball. Are you excited for baseball, basketball, and football?
I am. All three, heck yeah.
Okay. Carson is a sports guy. We're going to go ahead and take a little timeout, though. Of course, we'll be updating everybody. Of course, timeouts, though, are UMC Children's Hospital timeouts, and we'll be back with more. We hope this Monterey Plainsman is all right. We'll be back, though. 28-all in the third quarter. Under his own power and able to walk off the field. You love to see that for the Monterey Plainsmen. So back underway here, 2:10 to go. Odessa driving, slinging it to carry on, and incomplete. Is that Cash Lewis on the coverage over there? And it looks like it is.
It's good seeing him back in the game.
Yeah, we mentioned all the players. There's players that have been getting hurt tonight. Is that number 2 out there, or is that number 3? He's on the opposite end. You know, I jinxed it tonight. I said we'd be able to see the numbers. That's on me.
I think it's number 3 is what I'm saying.
Austin Reeves. So Reeves has got a big job out there then, if that's number 3 over there, guarding the 4-star prospect. It's 3rd down and 10 from the 31. Coda moving his receiver in motion. Looking to his left to carry on all the way. Trying to go over the top and overthrown. It's going to be 4th down. Carry on had a step on the defender, and if that ball was placed perfectly, it would have been a score. Just slightly overthrown, and it's now 4th down.
But I don't think you're upset with that throw. Yeah, I mean, I think you'd rather overthrow your receiver than underthrow him. If you're underthrowing him, it's just, it was number 3.
It is number 3. Yep, it's Austin Reeves out there.
But I think when you underthrow a receiver, it's a little demoralizing. I think when you overthrow him, you're like, heck, I got an arm. Let's go.
Right. Especially when you have one as fast as him.
Oh, for sure.
All right, the fans are yelling D up. It's 4th and 10. And the Broncos are going for it. I like this call.
I do too.
Throwing it and incomplete.
Turnover on downs.
I want to say that's the Broncos are now 1 for 5 tonight on 4th down conversions. Yeah, 4th down conversions at halftime. They were 1 for 3, so probably 1 for 4 now.
Yeah.
Because I believe that's their first 4th down this half.
I do believe you are correct, sir.
So if you're Monterey, that's a turnover.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And if you're the defense, that's worth celebrating.
And I think, for sure, if you're Austin Reeves, that's a big win for you.
Yeah, you're walking off the field feeling pretty good. Of course, Reeves is a player that got playing time last year. This secondary for Monterey is definitely a strength because of all their returning talent that they have. As there is movement again before the snap with the tight end, and they're going to hand it off and get really nowhere. Great defense by the Broncos.
Well, and if I'm Reeves and I know that I'm facing a 4-star committed to Oklahoma, that gets you excited.
No, absolutely.
That gets you, okay, I'm going to prove what I can do. You know, you see the little skits on TikTok, like the 5-star wide receiver versus the 1-star. Like, you see those skits, but you never really see them in real life. But when you do, that's fun.
Well, and yeah, this is a moment for And you got to think for carry on, he's going to get the best shot from everybody every night. Iron sharpens iron. He's going to get better because of it.
Oh, for sure.
And as there's a handoff up the middle, a great seam and across the 50, tackled down at a 48-yard line. First down, Plainsmen. That was an excellent run, and quickly getting back to the line of scrimmage is Monterey. I believe that was Jamarcus Smith on the carry.
And why wouldn't they? They want to be able to keep the tempo going. With only 2.5 minutes left in this third quarter, they might be looking to score before the quarter break.
Yeah, the tempo, right? That a lot of offenses run that now, and it's because it doesn't allow the time for the defense to be able to get a new play call, right? When I play Madden, that's what I do. I tempo the whole time. Another great run, leading forward, going to get about 9 yards on the carry. Christian Williams, once again, a lot of different running backs getting a lot of carries tonight for Monterey.
Well, and when you keep getting those big yardage runs, like I just said a couple minutes ago, I think 5 yards a run is a big run. When you break it for 9, 10, and a couple of plays consecutively, that's very, very energizing for not even the O-line, but the entire offense.
Williams powers forward, gets only a few yards, but enough for the first down, move the chains. When I was looking at it, that clip right there, Carson, while you were talking, I was looking at our replay monitor that we have over here. The offensive line for Monterey looks like a 5A offensive line.
For sure.
They got tackles, guards, center. They look the part. And the experience that they have, they will lean on this offensive line all season. Here's Arrington, handing the ball off to Williams again. The Odessa defense hits him at the line of scrimmage, but Williams keeps his legs churning and powers forward for a solid 5 yards on the play.
And when you play as a team and that kind of situation happens, you not only churn in your legs, but then you have your offensive line behind you pushing you forward, trying to get you more yards.
And there's it looks like a cramp down there on the field. With this hot weather that we're having tonight, cramps have been a problem last night, tonight, and probably all across the state. I heard that some teams in the DFW area, Carson, because of how hot it was, had to delay their game, like delay it an hour or two so that it would cool down a little bit. Of course, our timeouts tonight, because they are taking a timeout on the field right now, is a UMC Children's Hospital timeout. They told us coming into yesterday's game and today that they're going to have these little intervals where they kind of sneak in a water break every now and then for the teams. And I believe that this is this time that they're taking advantage of, is getting water into these student athletes. As there is a Monterey Plainsman still down. You love the victory V's that the fans are holding up.
You love to see it. And I don't know about you, Mr. Ward, but while we're on the topic of hydration, I've seen an invention where they're trying to basically put what the pack of like the water pack on a hiking backpack, they're trying to put that on shoulder pads. That way players can get water in between reps instead of having to wait until the next timeout to get water. Really?
That'd be kind of cool. I know what you're saying. Yeah, that's like a camelback is what they call them, right?
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Yeah, and it's a little bladder that you can, that'd be kind of cool. That's interesting.
It would be, but then you almost wonder, like, if you get hit in it, is it going to splatter? Or
will it break?
It's still pending approval and pending, like, the patent for it and all that.
Right.
But I think it's a great idea and a great concept.
As you see there, the Plainsman is up and running off the field. Love seeing Des Williams out there moving. Of course, he's expected to have a pretty big year this year, along with these Monterey Plainsmen. You know, when you tuned in tonight to watch this game, this is everything you'd hoped it would be, right? A back-and-forth game, just like last year. Last year's game was a back-and-forth game. Odessa High came out on top. We are in the last seconds of the third quarter, and where we're going to see crunch time, where we're going to see the best out of both of these squads coming up here in the fourth. There's a stop there by Odessa High. The Broncos season this year, they got El Paso Americas up next. That's going to be an away game Thursday, August 31st. After that, they go to Keller for another non-district game. They're going to be Road Warriors, Coach Ortiz and company, with 3 road games before they host Amarillo High on September 15th. Up next for Monterey, it's Abilene Wiley at Abilene Wiley, then home against Friendship, and then away against Midland. So there's your upcoming schedule for both these teams. Jamarcus Smith trucked a guy got the first down. Lowering his pad and talking a little bit right there after that play is Jamarcus Smith. That is a 6 foot, 185-pound senior running over the defender here. Look at this instant replay, Carson.
Wow.
And they usually say low man wins, and technically he did win. He wrapped him up and took him down, but he felt that one right there.
He paid the price for that one. Yes, he did.
But he made the tackle. Made the tackle, and that's going to do it for the third quarter. 28-all. What a fun game. We'll be back with this and so much more right after this short break. You're watching Lubbock ISD football on the Lubbock ISD YouTube channel. It's going to be a handoff to Jamarcus Smith. He's got a lot of green in front of him, and he's going to score.
Wow.
Touchdown, Jamarcus Smith from the 22-yard line. Takes it untouched to the house, and the Plainsmen regain the lead.
Well, it's like we were saying earlier, just take what the defense gives you. That's the whole point of football, is just taking what the defense gives you. On any deep pass play, you're taking what the defense gives you. Right there, outside run, beautifully well-executed blocks. Let him get the edge on the outside. Runs it in for 6.
He made him pay. 34-28 is now 21 unanswered points for Monterey as the Plainsmen and their sideline is buzzing, and the Broncos, their players and coaches have their hands on their hips wondering what's happening right here because they had all the momentum and Monterey just stole it back. Great run, great block. Tip your cap to that receiver that cracked blocked right there to not allow that outside linebacker to keep that outside containment and let Jamarcus Smith hit the corner.
Well, I think wide receivers are such an underrated position for blocking purposes.
Absolutely.
If you have 2 of your fellow wide receiver teammates out in front, they can lay a solid block, and a lot of people don't recognize that, but I want to show some love to them.
Absolutely.
Right?
Wide receivers are blockers too. No, and the ones that block like that downfield, to me, that shows the commitment that they have to their program,
For
right?
sure.
Because that's unselfishness 101.
That's
right?
that's taking their team into account. That's them wanting to win. That's their grit. That's even what they're taught. But some people can be selfish, unfortunately, and just be like, you know what? I don't like my running back running behind me. I'm going to let him get tackled. That's not how it should be, and I'm glad that's not how it is for Monterey.
See the coaching staff for Odessa communicating with their team. Of course, kickoff return here for them. The Plainsman power signs are up and getting the fans to chant Plainsman power. Just 7 seconds into the fourth quarter, the Plainsmen on top.
Well, and like you said just a few moments ago, it's crunch time. And Monterey proven we won it.
They won it. It's time to see if Odessa High wants it too, right? Because after giving up 21 unanswered, you want to see them get something going here, and you want to see, this is where you see what your offense is made of, right? You have a lot of talent on this offense for Odessa High. You got the experienced offensive line. You got great weapons on the outside, a quarterback. that shows that he can be lethal at times. And so this is where you want to see your offense come out here and do something. The amount of possessions that both of these teams have here in these final minutes, Carson, are very limited, right? You might have one or two apiece, maybe 3 max, right? If you're Odessa, you want to see your team drive the ball here.
You do. I think you really want to try to drain the clock if you can right here, but not too terribly much to where you don't leave yourself any time. But I think with you almost having a whole 12 minutes, it's going to be hard to not have any time left on the clock by the end of the drive.
That's a UMC Children's Hospital timeout called. Trying to see who it was called by. It was before the snap, and it was, thank you, and it was by Monterey. That is Monterey's first timeout here in the third quarter, or the fourth quarter rather. And it is 35-28. Something they didn't like there, right? Odessa might have presented something on the offensive end that Coach Jed Thrash didn't like, that his defense, the way it was lined up. Coach Thrash is a defensive-minded coach, and he's not afraid to call timeout if he sees something wrong with his defense.
Well, I said it a lot last year, but football is a game of perspectives. Obviously, me and you in the booth right now, we can see pretty much everything on the field. But the quarterback, he can see the gaps that we don't see. The coaches, they can see the mismatches that the players don't see. It's a game of perspectives, and that's what I think is so amazing about football.
Guys, I don't know if y'all know this. Carson is amazing. He is a senior in high school. I'm just saying, you got a bright future, man.
Thank you.
High snap, ball's loose. Monterey has a chance to jump on it, but you see Day Green flying in and able to slide in and get that ball. Day is quick, Carson. He planted that foot and dove.
Yes, he did.
It was a high snap, and you see Monterey there, a couple jerseys, black jerseys there in the surrounding area, but the number 3 comes flying in. You love seeing his effort, trying to make sure that his team has a chance to do something here. Because if they gave up that fumble right there at the 24-yard line, Carson, it would have been bad.
It would have been real bad. But now, I don't know if you noticed, but that was a gain of a yard.
Right. Scrambling, throwing, great decision by the quarterback, getting it to Day Green. He spins forward and is about a yard short of the first down, 3rd down and 1, or is the spot a first down, Carson? Did they give him the first down?
I don't think they've made a decision yet.
Yeah,
they're ready to move him,
and they're moving it. Great effort there by Day Green to get that first down. I hear we have a sideline report with our very own Dominic Martinez. Who's he talking to now? I'm anxious to hear. Dom, take it away.
Thanks, Mr. Ward. Grant, Monterey's morale is really high right now. How are we feeling tonight?
I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good. It's, they're a tough team, but Monterey's better. So I think we're gonna pull this one out tonight. I hope so. We got about a quarter left, so I'm feeling good. I think everyone else is feeling good. You can see the student section over there. They're doing really good over there. So energy's high. We're ready to go. We're ready to go.
All right, Grant. Having the Monterey spirit is really high at this game, especially since it's opening season. How are you feeling personally?
Personally, I think it's going to be a good season. We had a hard season last year, but I'm hyped for this one. I can already tell progress has been made, so I'm ready to go. I think it's going to be a great year.
Thank you, Grant. Sitting it back to Mr. Ward up in the booth.
Thank you, Dominic.
Of course, Carson is Mr. Ward as well, being Carson Ward.
Yeah.
So I had to let Carson have that one because I knew he was going to toss it back saying Mr. Ward.
We're both Mr. Ward, so technically we don't know who he's talking to whenever he tosses it back to us.
I love that we're like Wards, we're the Ward duo up here. Not related.
I was about to say.
We might be down the road somehow, but.
I know you're rubbing off on me a little bit.
Yeah, a lot of it. It's since beginning of last year's junior year when he came in and said he wanted to do games. I'm the cheese master, right? I've rubbed off on Carson. It hasn't been good. 1st and 10 at the 35, though. It's going to be a handoff to Day Green. He's got a lot of green in front of him, breaking multiple tackles, getting in deep into the secondary and into Monterey territory. Hold up, hey, Odessa's driving here.
Yes, they are.
That was a great run right there by Day Green, getting behind his big offensive line and giving what the defense gives him, right? And taking advantage of the big hole he had there.
I'm still thinking about what you said earlier. I would like to say I think you're more of a sharp American, sharp cheddar.
Oh, the cheese?
Yeah, and you would call me a Swiss because I'm cheesy, but I got some holes in me.
You got some holes in your game?
I might.
Great tackle there, but a great run by Day Green. He continues to step it up here in this second half. Getting some numbers here from the third quarter. I'm going to take a quick glance at them. Monterey holds the advantage on first downs, just barely rushing is the big stat that stands out for Monterey. They got 270 yards rushing on 42 attempts through 3 quarters.
Wow.
Of course, they've had more attempts as they've gone on through the into the fourth quarter. But passing for Odessa seems to be where they're at. 303 yards through the air for Odessa, high 6 for Monterey through 3 quarters. Of course, here's another UMC Children's Hospital timeout. Monterey player is down on the field with what looks to be another cramp. We're going to take a timeout as well on the TV end of things. We'll be back with more. It's 35-25, Monterey on top. Odessa's driving, though. You want to stay locked in on Lubbock ISD's YouTube channel. All right, the Monterey Plainsmen was able to get off the field again underneath their own power. 35-28 is the score. We're looking at the stats again through the first 3 quarters as we are now 2+ minutes into, or almost 2 minutes into the fourth. And what stands out right away, and the difference between last year and this year is the passing and running for Monterey. Last year, you have some stats from last year. What was the passing yards for this game last year for Monterey?
They had 314 passing yards.
Right now, Monterey has 6 passing yards, but they do have 270 rushing yards. And so I think that tells you the difference between the offense, right? They do have a new offensive coordinator this year, and they're taking advantage of their strength, which is their offensive line, and the 3 different running back options that they have, right? Well, but I want to say before you get into what you're about to say.
Okay.
They do have a quarterback that can sling it. Luke Arrington can throw the ball and be very effective at it. I wouldn't say 6 yards is going to be the normal for him.
No, for sure not. But they might have seen something in last year's game that they might have wanted to implicate. Or that could just be how their new offensive coordinator thinks. I don't want to waste the clock, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know what they do in the film sessions and in practice. But whatever they did, something's working this game.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. There was a completion right there. For a gain of a handful, it's going to be 3rd down and 3 from the 31-yard line. This is a big 3rd down here, and you got to think they're going for it if they don't get it, because the way both teams have been moving the ball here in the second half specifically, they need to score.
For sure, and we saw a lot of slower pace drives in the first half. Maybe that was just them feeling each other's defenses out.
Yeah.
But now they're going, like I said, scrapping tooth and nail, going toe-to-toe in the boxing ring, so to speak. And now we see the energy levels rising. We still have fans very much engaged. We still have the Palm Squad and the Cheer Squad engaged.
Yeah.
This game's getting fun.
The student section hadn't sat down for Monterey. That's the truth. If you're a fan sitting behind the student section, you probably want to move up a couple rows because they haven't sat down. All right, here we go. Hey, a great first down there for Odessa High, though. They got the first down. It's now 1st and 10 from the 26. Here's the snap. Looking to his right, has a receiver over the shoulder, in and out of his hands. That was a great pass there from quarterback Mikey Cota. Just falls in and out of the hands. I believe that was Day Green.
And I will say, I have been very impressed with how Mikey Cota has been playing this game.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. He's really good at his first read, right? When he looks and he sees he's open, he's going for it. I want to see him. I need to pay attention to see if he's going through progression, as if that first read's not open or if he's going to run with it.
Well, and something that I've taken a mental note of is that he's throwing the ball on the receiver's cut. That's the perfect time to throw the ball. You don't want them to get like 3 or 4 steps after the cut.
Yeah.
Because then you're almost throwing the ball late. And when you throw them right on the cut, that's whenever the ball is going to be right on the money.
Well, and that comes down to practicing with your receivers. You can tell this young man has put in the time with his receivers. He's going through his multiple reads across the middle. Caught! Oh, they're saying is it caught or incomplete? From my point of view, I thought it was caught. He went through multiple reads, did Coda, as you see here, going through his progressions and eventually finding a receiver over the middle. I thought it was caught. The officiating crew said right there it's incomplete. And so it's going to be a new down back at the 26-yard line. Great job by the quarterback there. He was poised in that pocket, right? He went through his first read, wasn't there, had a few more, felt some pressure, moved around.
Well, and even though he was retreating a little bit, his blocks were still holding up. It's not like he was getting rushed.
Right.
He was just getting a little hurried.
Right.
And as a quarterback, that still can get to you a little bit, maybe go through your progressions more, like a little faster than you want. But he still made a beautiful throw.
And there's another timeout for Monterey. Every timeout tonight is presented by UMC Children's Hospital. Thank you to them once again for supporting our program. And speaking of supporting our program, check out this awesome commercial that we made about the opportunities on how you can sponsor us and support our amazing program here at LISD TV.
Ms. Henry.
My name is Angel. My name is Lily.
I am one of the many Lubbock ISD TV students learning professional broadcast skills right now.
We have the opportunity to work with professional equipment during our high school sports coverage.
Learning skills that have allowed many of our students to work college sporting events with professional networks.
If you appreciate our coverage, we hope you'll consider one of our sponsorship opportunities.
Your support will help our program continue to grow, providing funds that allow us to learn using the latest broadcast and streaming technologies.
If you'd like to support us,
Contact Kenneth Dixon with the information on your screen.
and thank you for watching.
Welcome back to Friday Night Lights. We have the Odessa Broncos against the Monterey Plainsmen here in the fourth quarter. Things are getting interesting. Mr. Ward, what are your thoughts?
It's 35-28. Odessa's driving. And if you're watching this football game and you're just now tuning in, buckle up. It's been a lot of fun. If you've been locked in all game, thank you. We appreciate you watching us tonight. Coda going to the air to an open receiver. Great cut. And trying to cut it back in. He has one defender to beat. Reaches for the pylon. And the official says he's out of bounds. What a great move by the receiver.
It's not just the move, Mr. Ward. It's the effort. He tried even extending the ball to get across the pylon right there to ensure that his team got 6 points, but unfortunately got called back to the 1 yard line.
I believe that was Jalen Warren on the catch. I'm going to look at this instant replay. Again, Coda going through his progressions, looking left, going right, showing signs of a mature quarterback, and you can see why there was a buzz around him coming into this season, and that was Warren on the catch. It's now 1st and goal from the 1. Coda in the shotgun with a running back to his left. It's Day Green with the carry. And yes, sir, he trotted in, give him 6. Touchdown, Broncos. It's now a 1-point ball game. That was an effective drive for Odessa High. They gave what Carson's been saying all day. They took what the defense gave them, and they scored.
Yeah, and I want to highlight that was a 9-play drive. Took some time off the clock, giving Monterey a chance to maybe score. But if they do score, it gives Odessa some time possibly to score again.
Right. If you're Monterey here with this extra point opportunity, you got to think they're going to try to block it again, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're going to give everything they got. A low snap, not a good one, but they do have a good holder, able to recover it, and they put it through.
And that could have been bad.
Yeah, tip your cap to the holder there for Odessa High. It was a low snap, kind of bobbled, but he was able to gather it in and place it down perfectly for the kicker to put it up and through. It's now 35-all. We got ourselves a fun one here. We're going to hear from our officiating crew real quick. Okay, so that penalty is declined, and it's now 35 all. 8:51 to go here. It is 9:46 p.m. This game's kind of moving. Last night's game at the 8:50 mark for Estacado, that game was 3 hours and 20+ minutes long. I want to say we were probably at 9:46 still in the mid part of the third quarter. So this game's been moving tonight. And you got to think it's because both teams have been able to run the ball a little bit. And when they pass the ball, they catch in the ball, right? And so I think that's what's kept the clock moving tonight, right? A little bit.
That, and as the old saying goes, time flies when you're having fun.
Hey, look at you.
There you go.
I like that. All right. Moments away from Odessa High kicking this ball off. Again, I want to make sure I let everybody know, and we have 282 people watching the live stream now. Thank you again. Make sure you like this channel, you subscribe to the channel, because our Friday night broadcast will be here on this channel. Okay, so what beats watching free high school football? To me, nothing. Make sure you like and subscribe.
Yep, and high school football is electric. If you can't make it to the game, might as well make it to the broadcast.
Right. Well, and on top of this, too, the channel is going to, we post a lot of great things on what's happening in the district.
Yeah.
This is a great place to keep up to date with all things Lubbock ISD. It's another pooch kick. They've done it all game today. This time, Jamarcus Smith did not call for a fair catch. He's getting a block in front of him, makes it to about the 38-yard line, and he's fired up. He is a motivator. He's a guy that's fiery all the time and can get his team to rise to the occasion.
I couldn't agree more, and I'm just going to say he should be fired up after that. He went coast to coast with that kick.
Hey, okay.
Just on the width of the field, not the length. And he went from the far numbers to the close numbers, and he just turned what could have been a maybe 5-yard return. He turned into a 15-yard return.
Right, showing his speed. So back comes the offense. They have a 2 tight end set on the left side. It's going to be a snap. And met immediately. Great stuff there by the defensive line for Odessa High. On the carry for the Monterey Plainsmen was Christian Williams. See Arrington telling his guys really quick what the new play is as he looks to the sideline. Carson, there's going to be a lot of takeaways from this game for both of these teams, but one takeaway that I think both of them will agree with, win or lose, they were never quitting. Both of these teams have been fighting the entire game, and that's something that both of these coaching staffs will like to see.
And it just shows their heart and their commitment to their programs and to their teammates, especially their teammates. You love, as a coach, you love to see when your teammates are just always there for each other, fighting for each other, scrapping for each other. You know, that's just such a pleasant thing to see as a coach. But not just a coach, but if you're a parent, if you're a spectator, you notice that. You notice that with how they play.
Yeah.
And
you appreciate that.
Yeah, you appreciate it, and it's just so beautiful to watch.
Well, and both of these programs are tradition-rich programs. Every year, both these schools expect to make some noise and make it to the postseason. That's just part of having a tradition-rich program. And you're seeing both of these teams trying to take the steps to be able to achieve that. First down now after that carry. Move the chains for the Plainsmen. That was a big 3rd down and 8 run, Carson, to be able to continue this drive by Jamarcus Smith.
And I've said it once, and I'll say it again. He's been running hard. He's been running fast. And that's a lethal combo for any running back.
Absolutely, and he's got that want to. He's got that, as the kids would say, as your generation here would say, you got that dog in him, right? He wants it. He's going to go get it.
Yeah.
And you love to see it.
Of course.
So Arrington telling one of his receivers there a little bit and getting back in shotgun. Smith directly behind him, and it's going to be a handoff to Smith, bouncing it to the outside. Stiff arming a man and powering forward for a gain of 5 on the play. Denying the opportunity to be taken down for only a gain of 1 or 2. He wanted 5, and he got it there.
And that's a great thing to see for anyone, is because when you get the outside edge as a ball carrier, you have an advantage that is very, very looked over, very overlooked is what I'm trying to say. And when you get that edge, you have leverage on your defender that the defender can't make up for.
Right. Well, and that's why defensive coaches always preach and preach and preach outside containment. On that run right there, it was between the tackles, though. First down after that run by Monterey. Right, they preach outside containment. And because, like you said, that once you get outside, right, it's hard to stop. So, great job by Monterey for exposing that. And a great run right there by Des Williams to move the chains. Now at the, what is the, 39-yard line. Here's 1st and 10. Hand off to Williams. Stopped immediately at the line of scrimmage. Great stuff there by the Odessa High defensive line. Christian Howard on the stop.
And we've seen some very good defensive plays by both of these defensive lines. It's a position that's really not talked about as much as they should. But when the play happens around them, they go, it's like the light shines on them, you know? And it's so great to see that, yeah, you want to see a big run from a running back, but I also like seeing everything crash at the line. That just means your defensive line is doing something right.
Right, and they're crashing through here as they're trying to hit the corner. Really, the secondary and the second level of that defense for Odessa High shut that play down as Des Williams tried to hit the corner there. See the pursuit angle by one of the linebackers here, I believe. Yeah, there it is. Great job there by Jesus Gomez coming in and making that stop, as well as a slew of other Odessa High Broncos.
Yep, like I said, it's a team affair.
It is, and as a coach, you want to see all 11 hats flying to the ball, and that was great stuff there by the Odessa defense. It's now 3rd down and 6 on the 34-yard line, and it's going to be another handoff. Williams trying to go up the middle, and nothing happening there. He got stuffed.
And as you would say, that's big time.
That's big time by that Odessa High defense. They needed to stop. They got it there, and it's now pivotal thinking here. If you're Monterey, right, you have a good kicker, but you might be a little bit out of range for Cardenas. I was watching him pregame, Carson, and he was lined up on the 40-yard line and making them. And so there is a chance that he could go out there, but it looks like they're going to go for it here.
And I think it's kind of a gutsy call at this point in the game, but I'm not opposed to it. You're at a point in the field where, hey, it's 4th and 4. If you bring analytics into it like Joey McGuire would, you're going for this.
Cutting up, getting the first down. Oh, and he has a chance to go the distance. One player to beat, cutting in, and he's going to do it.
Wow.
Touchdown, Monterey.
What a run.
Des Williams calls his number and scores. Give him 6.
Even running into his teammate on that play.
Right, let's look at this instant replay. Bouncing off multiple Broncos, even his own player. Getting by the last defender and finishing strong. Des Williams, number 6, putting 6 on the board. That's a beat 'em red, beat 'em blue score.
I see what you did there.
I had to do it.
You had to.
Here's Gio Cardenas with the extra point opportunity. It's now 41-35. A bad snap recovered by Ryan Jordan. He's having to roll out to his right, slinging it and getting tackled on the run. And that's going to be incomplete. Jordan doing what he could with that opportunity there. It was a box snap. He picked it up and tried to come up with something there, but it's going to fall incomplete. And so it's going to be 41-35 with 4 minutes to go here at Lowry Field at Plains Capital Park. If you wanted a good one, you got one here. We're going to take another final, probably what could be our final timeout of tonight. We've got 4 minutes to go, so stay with us. We'll be back with this and more. It's crunch time. Of course, this timeout's presented by UMC Children's Hospital. We'll be back right after this. The end over end kick, and Odessa High is going to let it go into the end zone, but it kind of stalls out right there and doesn't go in the end zone. Special teams stepping up again for Monterey, but they got to stop him. And they'll tackle him down at the 19-yard line. That drive right there, Carson, was 9 plays. It was a 60-yard drive capped off by a 33-yard touchdown run by number 6, Des Williams. I want to tip our cap to Hub City Preps over there for helping us out with the stats. Thank you, sir. And so here comes Odessa High, right, down by 6. And they got a ways to go here on the field. They got to go 82 yards to be able to tie this and possibly retake the lead. But I think they're up for the challenge after what they did on that last drive, Carson. They nickeled and dimed their way down the field, and it led to a touchdown.
Well, and it's definitely doable. 3 minutes and 55 seconds is still a lot of time on this clock. But on top of that, they still have all 3 timeouts. So let's see if they can put some magic together, so to speak, and see if something magical can happen.
They've done it once. They've done it twice. They've done it many times. I bet they could do it again. The key is, though, if you do it, don't take don't leave too much time on the clock.
Right. That is always the key.
Because they did have a 97-yard touchdown pass earlier. That was on 1 play.
They did. But I think the strategy for Odessa right here is you're only down by 6. So you just need a touchdown and a PAT. But also, I think you want to milk the clock a little bit. I think that's what the coaches are thinking. I think that's what the players are thinking, because they know that they have that flexibility.
There's another Monterey Plainsman down right now, what looks to be a cramp, and that is Des Williams. He's had himself a night on the offensive end. You see him now out on the field playing some defense. And, of course, this timeout is a UMC Children's Hospital timeout. We just came out of a timeout break, so, Carson, let's stay here and talk about what our upcoming production schedule looks like for us. We're going to have back-to-back Thursday night games, and we're going to have on August 31st, Big Spring coming to town to take on Lubbock High. Kickoff for that game will be on Fox 34 News Now here locally at 7 p.m. They'll follow that up with another Thursday night contest on September 7th. Friendship coming to take on the Monterey Plainsmen. That one will be a lot of fun. Of course, the Tigers expecting to have a big year with a lot of returning players. And, of course, they're taking on Coronado tonight. Why don't you get on the old phone and see if Friendship and Coronado the score on that game, because I'd be interested in hearing that. Okay. After that, we're finally back on YouTube. You love to hear it. Rider, Wichita Falls Rider, and what is probably their last year as a school, because they are building a lot of new high schools over there in Wichita Falls. They're going to bring a couple of them together. We'll be coming to take on Coronado on September 8th, and we'll be back here on YouTube. Carson already put his name down in Sharpie that he wants to be back on the airwaves for that one.
Oh, you know I do.
Des Williams still down there on the field. You can tell he's in a lot of pain with that right leg, and we hope he's okay as he pops back up. Current score right now, 45-26. Friendship on top of Coronado over there in Wolfforth.
Big shout out to Hub City Preps. He's coming in clutch.
Did he just give us the score too?
He did.
Dude, you're killing it over there, man. Thank you. Yeah, Coach DJ Mann in his 3rd season leading the Coronado Mustangs. He's got a new quarterback this year in Isaiah Vasquez. But, you know, the standard can never slip, right? No. You had a lot of seniors graduate last year, but it's the next guy up mentality. He's got a lot of great talent coming up through his middle school feeder schools. I saw a picture of him on the other day that he posted of Irons, of the offensive linemen that they have over there at Irons right now. There's a lot of buzz around that group, being able to bring some positive things in the future for Coronado. But, right, next man up mentality. Expectations are always there. Coronado's expected to have a big year. Of course, Estacado showed last night that they are absolutely electric on offense. I know Lubbock High's on the road facing El Paso Socorro tonight. Great ball over the top, trying to hit the home run. Falls incomplete. But, right, and Lubbock High's on the road facing El Paso Socorro. And so I believe they were in the lead as well whenever we started our broadcast tonight. So there's a buzz around the Lubbock ISD football programs, and for all the right reasons. Got great coaching, great administration, and great players. Of course, I just heard from our awesome producer, Emma, shout out to her, that Lubbock High won tonight. So they are 1-0 on the season. They have a 6-hour bus ride back home from El Paso. They beat Socorro, but that is going to be a happy bus ride, a victorious one.
It's going to be a happy one, and I'm sure there's going to be a couple naps on the way back.
Absolutely, but the coaching staff, I guarantee it, with Coach Juan Rodriguez, is back at work. Scrambling and getting a first down and more. Having a great block in front of them. And being tackled at the 45-yard line, the quarterback, Mikey Coda, scrambles and gets 24. That's a great run there by the quarterback. There is a flag on the play here on this close side by the line judge, so we'll be hearing from our head official, Robert Cameron, shortly. One thing I do appreciate about our head official tonight, Carson, and you've probably noticed it watching the game, he is very thorough. He will not turn that mic on until he knows 1,000% what he needs to say on there, and he's going to make sure he gets it right. Very thorough, and that's why he's wearing the white hat, right? The guy that's in charge out there.
Well, and when you referee for 48 seasons, you want to be assured.
Number 1, offense, 10-yard penalty from the spot of foul. Third down will be repeated.
All right. So there you go. Thank you to Mr. Cameron. I do want to give, again, one more time a shout-out to our students that are out here working tonight. Every camera is being run by a student. I'm not 100% in the truck. I have a good feeling, though, that like 90% of the jobs in the truck are being run by a student. Carson in the booth, a student. We can't do this without our students. We're so thankful for each and every one. 21 plus is what they told us earlier. Students showed up tonight, and that's big time.
Well, and you say you can't thank your students enough. Well, we as students, we can't thank our advisors and our teachers enough for giving us the opportunity to actually shoot these games. This is what it's all about. I mean, yeah, it's fun watching a football game. In my opinion, it's more fun to work a football game because, well, you get free food, you get free experience, you know? And it's just, it's something that you can't trade and you can't get anywhere else.
We are, I was saying earlier, we're one of one, and we're very lucky to have what we have. And so when we're starting to thank people, you got to start from the top. You got to start with the Lubbock ISD administration, the school board, Dr. Kathy Rollo, and everybody, because without their support, we wouldn't be able to do this either. And so we got to thank them as well. So here we are, 1st and 10, 3:16 to go. Plainsmen on top, 41-35. It is crunch time here. And so it looks like I'm looking at the bug on the very bottom, our graphics. It is 41-35. Monterey on top of Odessa High. Coda here in the shotgun with Green to his right. 4 wide receivers out, and it's going to be a pass. Looking over the middle, falls incomplete. Trying to connect with Jalen Warren. And it's going to be 2nd down.
Mr. Ward, I don't know if you saw that or not, but I was looking at the far side of that defensive line, and there was a bull rush that happened.
Oh, yeah?
And it was amazing to watch.
I was watching I love watching the quarterbacks. I'm more of a quarterback guy, right? I love seeing how they operate, their poise, how they go through their reads, and I'm thoroughly impressed with Odessa High's quarterback, Mikey Coda. I'm also impressed with Monterey's quarterback, Arrington. I think he's got a really bright future. I'm excited to see him as he continues to develop, get more reps underneath his belt. Standing at 6'5", he's got next level written all over him, right? And so I'm looking forward to seeing him continue to thrive.
I think there's a lot of future stars on this field right now, and I can't wait to see how their future pans out. I can't wait to see how the program's future pans out.
Right, yeah, because both of these programs got a chip on their shoulder. They got that want-to in them this year, right? Both of them didn't have the year that they wanted last year, and this is the game that usually, like, let's go for it, you know?
I think both these teams are due. They obviously didn't have the season that they wanted last year, but I think there's a ton, and I mean a ton of positives to take away from last year.
Yep, that's enough for a 1st down. The toe tap and the catch with Isaac Luan. That's a thing of beauty right there, Carson. That's something that you practice on Thanksgiving in the backyard of your grandparents. You know, the catch, the tap, keeping it in bounds.
Yeah, I practiced that with my cousin. I know I did. I don't know about you.
No, yeah, I have a cousin that night we would think we scored every time we did it too. So it's going to be 1st and 10. Stepping out of bounds, stop the clock, and that was important for Odessa there, as they can kind of reset, or maybe important for Monterey, right? Because Odessa might want the clock to be turning. They got 3 timeouts on their side.
Yeah, I think if you're Odessa right now, you're wanting to get the ball downfield, but I think you're also wanting to drain the clock a little bit.
That pass completed over the middle, just enough for another 1st down. One play moved the chains. That time, Andrew Rodriguez with the reception. I love how they're trying to expose the middle of the defense, right? They're not trying to do one thing on the left side or the right side. They're going after everybody here, and that's the strength of this Monterey defense is that secondary, and they're not isolating just one person. They're trying to go after everybody. It's another handoff. Day Green, ooh, getting hit by multiple Plainsmen. That one had to hurt, but he pops back up, gets the ball back to the official, and they're moving quick again. Another Monterey Plainsman is down on the field right now. Here's our instant replay of that play. Great blocking up front, and it's a low hit right there. I bet his shoulder got him right there, and that is the Monterey Plainsman that is down right now. Immediately popping back up. The Plainsman that was down was Des Williams. Of course, that is a UMC Children's Hospital timeout, but we're going to stick here as we have 1:59 to go. Of course, like I've already mentioned, we've got a lot of games here this year out at Lowry Field. I haven't quite counted how many games that we're doing on YouTube. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 games on YouTube this year, which is really exciting. We love that we're trying out a new platform, and it looks like it's paying off. We're getting some good numbers tuning in tonight. It's 10 games. Oh, you know what? It is 10 games because Band Extravaganza is on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Shout out to our producer for helping me out there. But we're having a great audience tuning in tonight, right? And we're super grateful for everybody tuning in and being engaged with us. 2nd down and 5. Feeling the pressure by the Monterey defense, having to throw it on the run. And it looks like Coach Ramon caught that there on the sidelines. So that's going to be 3rd down and 5 now. The defense, Monterey brought some pressure on that, and it paid off.
Yeah, yes, sir. And it's kind of risky to blitz on a late down. In this case, I think it would have been a 3rd down. But the fact of the matter is, blitzing is going to go one way or another. Either you beat it or you don't.
You risk it for the biscuit. Oh, and
what a catch.
Yeah, what a catch. A lot of open space in front of them, and did Odessa High answer? They did. Great pass, great catch. The Monterey defender tried to get out in front of that, and it ended up biting him there as that it was able to get a little bit of separation. Great pass and great catch. On the reception there was Jalen Warren. And so it's going to be 1st and goal now for Odessa High.
Well, and if you're a DB right there, it's really kind of hard to judge that ball because you're thinking, okay, I can have that. I have that reach to get to the ball, and you're trying to make a play on it. You're trying to pick that ball off so that way you can secure the victory.
Oh, and it's a QB keeper diving in, and he scores. Touchdown, Odessa High. Mikey Cota calls his own number on the RPO and finds the blue turf. This game is now tied, and Odessa High has a chance to take the lead with this extra point.
And it's like you said many times this game, Mikey Cota displaying his dual threat ability. We love to see it.
He's also showing that he's a smart quarterback. Because he made the right decision on pulling the ball, keeping it himself in that situation, and taking it into the end zone. Are you having flashbacks from last year's game? Yes. This game is close, up and down the entire way, been a battle all the way through. Who will come out on top? We got 1:23 to find this one out because Broncos have a chance to take the lead here.
Well, Mr. Ward, I don't know about you, but in the first half, I was thinking this game was going to be a complete 180 from last year's game. I was thinking
it was defense.
It was defense, but then the offenses were just melting the clock. So I was like, okay, either they're going to keep doing that, or they're going to completely flip a script, and it could go one way or the other. But I was wrong.
Yeah, it was 14-14 at halftime, and now it's 41-41.
That's exactly right.
That tells you the how things have changed here in the second half. Both teams, put up four more touchdowns?
And Odessa with the 3 unanswered touchdowns, 1 right before the half, and then the 2 right out of half.
Right. Both teams showing and flexing their offensive muscles tonight, that's for sure. So here's the extra point. This is a big one. One of them been blocked already today. Another one was a bad snap, but the holder was able to keep it. So this is a huge extra point for Odessa High. A good snap, the hold. It's up and good. Odessa High is taking the lead. It's now 42-41. Broncos on top of the Plainsmen. You saw the effort there by Monterey, they had multiple players coming off the edge, flying, trying to block it, just not there in time. So you got a minute 23 now. You've been very run heavy if you're Monterey. I think you kind of have to flip the script here, right? You need your special teams to be special once again, and then you might have to throw the ball a little bit more here, right, than you have all night?
I think you have to. I know you have very few passing yards all game, but the fact of the matter is a minute 23 is not enough time to run your way down the field, especially with one timeout. I was trying to see the score on the scoreboard because I couldn't.
Yeah, Monterey's scoreboard over there has gone blank on the video board. Monterey does have one timeout. Odessa has 2 timeouts.
But it's the point of the fact of the matter is that it's going to be hard to just run your way down the field with a minute 23 and one timeout. You're going to have
to play sideline to sideline.
You're going to have to, and there's just no ifs, ands, or buts. You're going to have to flex those out routes, flex those corner routes, maybe throw a streak down the side on the sideline, and see what you can come up with.
I see Cash Lewis on the sideline. He's drinking some water. You need to see him, get some plays out there, right? You want to see number 2 get the ball. You want to see your playmakers in this moment get the ball, right? And it's been your running backs today. Who's it going to be in this final drive for Monterey? Or is the Odessa High defense going to stand tall? Fair caught at the 25-yard line. So 75 yards is how far Monterey's going to have to go. Of course, they have a great kicker. Okay, I've been saying it tonight. Gio Cardenas has been on varsity, I want to say, since he was a freshman. And he's got a great leg on him. Get it in field goal range, and you still got a shot. Okay, you don't have to go the whole distance if you're Monterey. Okay, you're down by 1. Get into field goal range and trust the leg of your junior kicker because he's pretty good.
He is pretty good. But, Mr. Ward, I'm going to give you a little thinking session real quick.
I like that. Let's hear it.
I haven't quizzed you yet, but if you're Monterey, what is your plan of attack to get into field goal range right now?
They got to throw the ball a little bit more. But I wouldn't surprise me one bit if they run it because the defense here is thinking pass, right? Feeling some pressures Arrington. It's a design screen to the running back, falls incomplete. The defense was playing man on the outside receivers and loaded the box there on that play.
And I think that's the perfect counter to a screenplay because you see a lot of screenplays develop and you have a ton of blockers. But if you can match them with a ton of defenders, and if everybody can read it, you're not going to be getting a huge gain on that screenplay.
Let's look again. It looks like they're gonna be playing man once again. Look at the box in the middle. There's 7 Odessa High players in the box. And there's going to be a flag on the play. The line judge is coming in, and it's going to be a false start. If you're Monterey, that's not what you want right now. But that's how you know how big this moment is, right? These guys, they're itching to get the play going, and that caused the false start a little bit.
And they get jumpy. They know how, like you just said, they know how big this moment is, so they're going to get jumpy. They're going to get eager for the play to start, like you just said.
So 2nd down and 15 now, minute 19 to go from the 20-yard line. Arrington, 5-step drop, feeling some pressure and having to run. Throwing it on the run. Oh, nearly picked off. In and out of the hands of the Bronco. Arrington threw a fastball, and that's why the Bronco wasn't able to corral it in. Because it beamed off of his pads there. It's going to be 3rd and 15. Here's the instant replay. I know this is a great camera angle of it. I love how Arrington was able to avoid the pressure, just slightly overthrowing his receiver there. That shows the poise of that junior quarterback to be able to move around the pocket and be able to find a receiver that just goes incomplete. It's going to be 3rd and 15.
And a lot of times it's really good to step up in the pocket and try to deliver a strike, but tonight the pockets have been collapsing like no other.
A high arcing pass trying to go to Cash Lewis, and that's going to be a flag. It's going to be coming back, even though it's picked off by Odessa High. Odessa High is going to score it here on the interception, but the flag's going to go against the Broncos. Cash Lewis, the defender, was all over him on that play, and so it's going to be coming back. That's what Monterey needed in that moment. It was 3rd and 15. Arrington threw it up, and it's going to come back, and it's going to be a 1st and 10, a new set of downs for the Plainsmen.
Well, and if you're playing Monopoly, that's a bail out of jail free card.
That is.
There you go.
I need to play Monopoly now.
It's just such a long game.
It is. This one is not, because time's flying, because we're having fun. Right, Carson?
That's completely right.
If Monterey is able to win this game tonight, we need to remember this moment right here.
This would be the turning point. That is completely true.
Yeah. Here's Arrington here on the replay. Trying to throw it up to his go-to playmaker, and those are 50-50 balls most of the time. But the flag on the play, and the defensive back knew instantly for Odessa High.
But now with only 56 seconds left and 1 timeout, now you're going to have to pass. You don't really have the comfortability of running it unless you know you can get a 20, 25, maybe even 30-yard run out of it. But still, that's really, really risky, and that's a big if.
Right. Cash Lewis in at wide receiver again. Love seeing him back out there for the Plainsmen. Christian Williams lined up next to him, and then 2 receivers on that far side. Moving Smith in motion. Arrington looking over the top. He's trying to hit the home run. He does!
Wow!
Cash Lewis with the catch. What a pass! What a catch! Move the chains. The Plainsmen are in the red zone.
What a throw. You've been saying it all night. We've been waiting for Luke Arrington to show off his arm, and he does right there. What a ball.
Over the center of the field, right on the right hash, and he hits his receiver. Great route, great pass, and it's going to be in the red zone. Now tonight, I believe Monterey's been perfect when in the red zone. I know we have the stats from the first half. I'm not sure if it is from the second half. Here's another angle of that pass from Arrington to Cash Lewis. That's a game changer, and he made the game-changing play.
And now you're well within field goal range, so you can pretty much do whatever you want right now. Maybe run the ball and try to get a little bit closer, because you don't need a touchdown. You really don't.
The board says it's 2nd and 10. This is the first play, though. Shout out to Dilly on that awesome camera angle right there. As we're back underway, he's trying to do another one of those 50-50 passes in and out of the hands. Ooh! They're on money with those lob passes, just not on that one right there. And it's gonna, I guess it's 3rd down. Did they?
Oh, they spiked it.
Yes, okay, yes. Thank you to Hub City over here again for helping us out right there. It is 3rd down. While we were looking at the incident replay on our monitor, Monterey went down the field and spiked the ball, doing what they had to do to stop the clock. And so your play-by-play guy here needs to be better watching that.
When you still want to preserve your timeout, you never know when you're going to need it. You didn't need to use it right there. Good call on them to spike it.
So 3rd and 10, ball on the 19-yard line. With 39 seconds to go, the box is loaded for Odessa. They're bringing the pressure, and he just got rid of it right there. Jamarcus Smith was blocking for him, and when he was blocking for him, he kind of fell back on Arrington, and Arrington had to get rid of it. But here's the guy that I was talking about earlier. They're bringing out the field goal unit. Gio Cardenas coming out. So this is where they need the good snap, right?
They need the good snap. They need the good hold. Their special teams has been money all game. Can they deliver again?
We're about to see. 34 seconds to go. It's going to be Ryan Jordan with the hold. Gio Cardenas with the kick. He's a lefty. Can he put it through? The hold, the snap's good. The kick, end over end. And it's good! Gio Cardenas puts it through. 30 seconds to go in this game, and the Plainsmen are celebrating on the sidelines as they recapture the lead.
And I know from experience this game isn't over. 30 seconds left, 2 timeouts. I've seen crazy things happen.
Yeah, no, 100%. This game is far from over. The celebration is real, right? You're allowed to celebrate. You recaptured the lead. It's been a physical game. Your kicker just put it through. You have an opportunity to win your first game in over a year. So there's right to celebrate, but you got to remember 30 seconds are still left on that clock. You're exactly right, Carson.
And you can, like you just said, celebrating right now is big, but if you're the defense and especially the special teams, you have to lock in right now. You got to stouten up, you got to stiffen up, and you got to make sure that these 30 seconds don't go in a way that you don't want them to go.
You got to play that prevent defense.
You
Can't
have
let
to.
number 1 have another 97-yard touchdown catch.
You have to.
And you got to think Gio Cardenas he'll kick it through the end zone like he has a couple times already tonight.
Just makes it a little bit harder for Odessa.
What a roller coaster game tonight here at Lowry Field at Plains Capital Park. Monterey recaptures the lead with 30 seconds to go. It's been a game of swings, right? As of late, though, in the third quarter, about midway through the third quarter or the rest of the way, it's been neck and neck. But both teams, right, had a big 14-point swing for Monterey, a 21-point swing for Odessa High. It's been a lot of fun to watch.
It really has, and it's been a pleasure being up here with you, Mr. Ward.
You're the man, Mr. Ward. Of course, Carson will be up here many more times this year, and a lot of different students will get the opportunity to participate in broadcasting, being on the live sports end of this. But here's a big kick and a big moment for Monterey. That they've been trying to get this, the first win in the Judd Thrash era, and they have 30 seconds away to see if they can capture it. Oh, and they dropped it in the end zone. Picking it up, taking it out. Tackled at the 15-yard line. So they're going to have to go 85 yards in 26 seconds. They have 2 timeouts on the board. They still have a chance, especially with how great their offense has been.
Their offense has been electric. I know we've said it a lot tonight, but I just had to say it one more time.
It has. You got to feel with the talent that they have on the wide receivers. They have multiple wide receivers. You can't just lock down, Ivan Carrion. You have to worry about number 13, Andrew Rodriguez. The sophomores had a great night tonight. You got to worry about multiple different players catching this pass. And so if you're Monterey, you rush 3, drop 8 in coverage.
You have to. But I think if you play a little too deep, the receivers might try to have a shorter route.
Right.
And
carry on, gets it, and goes out of bounds. That takes off about 5 seconds off the clock.
But I think if you play a little too deep, you're going to have the receivers change their routes and go short and get yards after the catch.
Yep.
And
I think that's what we just saw right there from Odessa. They tried to go for that.
But you can't script. Like, you can't plan to go short here. You have to plan to go long, because then if it's there, you take it.
Take it. All right, here we go. 1st and 10. Mikey Cota. 3-step drop, feeling some pressure, and he's going to run. He flicks it up, and it's going to fall incomplete.
With 13 seconds left on this clock.
He had to get rid of it right there. Monterey was right on top of him. He had a receiver in the area. Playmaker trying to make a play right there, and you tip your cap to Cota on that one.
Well, and good job on his part not taking a sack.
No, and you can't take a sack in this moment.
You can't. And that was smart for him to try to flick it to his running back, and the running back not wanting any part of it. That way it's an incomplete pass, and he's not trying to have to heave it to the sidelines.
Coach Thrash getting out there on the field. He's into this game. Cota looking across the middle. Caught. Oh, incomplete. Fell in and out of his hands. It was in the hands of senior, Isaac Luan. But the defense forced it out right there. I believe that was Cash Lewis on the protection. Here's the replay of it. Great pass, great defense. So it wasn't Cash Lewis. It was Q Boyd on the defense. That's a sophomore making a big play in probably one of the biggest games of his career so far. 7 seconds to go, ball at the 28-yard line. This could be it for Odessa. Feeling the pressure, rolling to his right. Planting his feet and throwing. Across the middle and falls incomplete. Monterey wins.
Wow.
The Plainsmen take down Odessa High 44 to 42. The Plainsmen are celebrating on the field, and for the first time in the Judd Thrash era, the Plainsmen can hold their victory V's up in victory. They're taking this one tonight.
And they've been waiting for this moment for a long time. They were due.
They were due. They've put in the work. They've over the offseason, they grinded all year long. They were disciplined, and they showed up tonight, and it paid off. Beat them red, beat them blue. The Plainsmen are victorious.
Couldn't have said it any better.
Tip your cap to Odessa High tonight. They came in, and they showed up, and they showed out. They gave Monterey everything they had, and they showed why they're a 6A power. And they make some noise at that level. And this is exciting for Monterey and Coach Jed Thrash because they finally got over the hump, right? They had to play in their head over the offseason that they didn't get a win, but they're starting the season 1-0.
And this could be the start to a long streak of momentum. We've seen a lot of win streaks come from one win, just from one win. And then you get a head of steam going. You're like a freight train, and you don't want to stop.
It's called stacking success.
There you go.
You found success. Now it's time for Monterey to start stacking it. 44-42, the final score here tonight from Lowry Field at Plains Capital Park. Carson, great job tonight. Great job to all of our Lubbock ISD TV crew. We want to thank you for tuning in tonight. Plainsmen, they're 1-0 on the season. They win 44-42. There's a lot of excitement, and we look forward to seeing you back here next week as we broadcast Big Spring taking on Lubbock High on Thursday. But until then, we hope you stay happy and healthy, and we'll see you soon.
This has been a production of the students and staff at Lubbock ISD TV.